glad that you didn't just get mad and
none of
freak
that.
out, because
None of
I'm
that.
not trying to.
Hold on, it's not muted yet. The bar is still loading, but I don't know when it actually goes live. So just give me a minute. I just want to kind of start this shit, and then we'll.
I'm glad that you didn't.
See some of that recorded. It's fine. Got it. All right, we're gonna mute ourselves. Let people kind of hop in for a minute. All right, we're good now. I was also watching some UFC. It's on in the background. I'm gonna do this. I don't even give a fuck if my shit's monetized or not. But we're watching a little UFC in the background there while we're talking. This shit's not gonna go. Actually, you know what? Let me do this. Let me go, and I go, yeah, that'll be fine. Hey, look at this shirt. Just FYI, if you know the, if you know it, strike first, strike hard. Type it in the chat. Okay, so in today's Drinkin Inside the Box, as we like to call it, what I wanted to do was a little bit of what I was doing on Candy's show last night, and that was let's try to kind of look at this poem in a different way and maybe attempt to solve it just using the poem. I'm not sure if that's possible or whatnot, but I would love to kind of maybe get some people on here that want to discuss solves. But what I want to do is something different than normal solves. So what I'm hoping we can do today is, if we're going to talk about solving the poem, I want to do it in a way that your solve isn't what's coming up. And hold on, this is like OCD bothering me. Like the camera looks, whatever. I don't give a shit. I want to do talking about solves without your solve. So for instance, my solve was the Uncompahgre River, Colorado, whatnot. Hey, Cobra Kai, fuck you, asshole. Well done, sir. I saw the Cobra Kai there. I want to talk about this stuff, but not in a way where we're biased. And this isn't getting into, Jack and no confirmation bias and any of that stuff. That might be the right way to think about it, but I don't want to use Jack's thoughts too much into this. What I was hoping we could do today is look at the poem. Instead of looking at my fucking face, we will just put the poem up and, you know, get as many people on here who want to talk about different ways of solving it. Now, look, you may have a way to solve this poem that you felt hasn't been heard. You've said it on the message boards and no one's listening to you. I invite that, but I invite that under the proper circumstance. And here's the circumstance in which I'm inviting solves. I need you to do it in a note card. And how do you do that online? How do you do that on Zoom, on YouTube? I need you to do that in a note card where you can explain to me, okay, we're looking at the poem. Here's begin it where one wonders halt. Well, Ben, that's actually not where you begin it. You begin it at if you've been wise and found the blaze. Here's why. Don't give me 16 fucking references and something that's going to make us go 3 hours into figuring stuff out. I want to go, why do we start at the beginning? Why do we start here? Why is here the beginning? Oh, because of this. And here's where this is on a map. Like, that's the kind of shit I want to talk about. Or it's, let's debate. What is the first clue? I think we all say we're begin it where one wonders halt. The poem tells us begin it. Forrest Fenn, I think himself has been not maybe forced into, but has admitted as much to say that begin it where one wonders halt is the first clue, but has he? And this is where I also want to introduce, maybe for research purposes, maybe some of you aren't jumping onto this as much as you should, but that Terry Scant Amazon Kindle version is very helpful. So what I'd like to do is, if we are going to debate the poem, if we're going to debate Fenn's intentions, that's fine. But the only reference I ever want to make in this stream tonight is going to that Terry Scant and looking up his quotes. I don't want to go to the book, and I don't want to go to any of his other books. I don't want to go to, you know, I'm into Cult of Relics. I think Indy is on the right track with Cult of Relics. If the answer is Cult of Relics, how do we not end up at Cult of Relics? I want to take tonight and focus on the idea that the salesman told us, which was we need the poem, a book, and a good map. Why do we need the book? Well, you need the book because the poem's in the book. And maybe there's a couple of hints in the poem. I want to just focus on the poem, and I want to focus on what Forrest Fenn has said. And I see Trusted Living making a comment, yes, Forrest did state WWWH is the first clue. I would agree. But I feel, and this is pure conjecture on my own end right now, I feel like I have found a quote, or at least have seen something like it, that says Forrest makes a delineation between WWWH and where warm waters halt, as in, and maybe try to wrap your brain around this, maybe you already have. I'm wondering if Forrest has seen that he has been asked, is WWWH the first clue, or is the blaze? And then he'll answer that with, yes, WWWH is the first clue. And then someone else will go, where do we start the poem in terms of looking for your chest? Do we start it beginning where warm waters halt? And he'll go, well, it's important enough to find the first clue. And so because of a couple of things that he has said, we have now associated WWWH and where warm waters halt as the same answer of begin it there. And I'm wondering if Fenn was taking advantage of our questions and going, if you say WWWH to me, I'll say, yes, that's the first clue. If you say beginning where warm waters halts to me, then I'm going to say something else. I'm wondering if we can backtrack. Did Fenn do that? Because if he did, I think we missed something gigantic. Before I keep ranting, let me kind of read into this. No, Fenn said the first clue was actually begin it where warm waters halt. Okay, so Andy is saying Fenn's quote is actually begin it where warm waters halt, not begin it at WWWH. And I'm wondering, is there a difference there? So the actual quote, and so we have two people saying a quote. No offense, Trusted Living, you and I talk, but I'm gonna go with Candy just because Candy feels like she's as obsessed as me, but you know, maybe you are too, Trusted. But what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna hop on the Kindle and I'm gonna type in where warm waters halts into the Kindle of Terry Scant, and it's indexing right now. Maybe I'll do this. I'm going to do a screen share right now. Do I have anything bad up? All right, no, I think we're good. All right, so I gotta move my face here. All right, so the first one is, okay, that's the poem. All right, so see, and this is the only hard part with Terry Scant is some of these are interviews. So sometimes when, for instance, if you see my mouse, Schwartz, right? Schwartz, see, this goes away when I do that, and I hate that. Anyway, Schwartz says the 9 clues to finding Fenn's treasure. And then the next line is Fenn, begin at where one must halt. But then you see the next line is taking the canyon down. And so are these clips of him just talking about the poem and reciting the poem, or is Fenn actually interjecting here? This is where you'd have to take it one step further if we really wanted to analyze and see if this Schwartz-Fenn interview was just a back and forth, or if it was Schwartz with a Fenn voiceover and we're just hearing parts of the poem. So I don't think that particular page helps us. But I don't think that was the quote that Indy was referring to. So what we do is, and this is kind of a glimpse into my research, is we carry on. So what we do, I want to take this out so I make sure I can see the chat. I don't miss anybody. Do that. Oh, that's my dad. Anyway, Kendall. All right, so the box is literally the first clue and the work area. I mean, I can't disagree with that. I think that might be right, but everyone ignores the it. Fucking A, I agree. Begin the Madison where one waters halt, take the Madison in the canyon down. I've done the Madison tired, and now I'm weak. Boy, if there was ever a sentence that described how I felt going across and back and then across and back in a matter of an hour, it was, whew, I've done that tired. I feel weak, and I'm a 37-year-old man. So I love the idea of replacing it with Madison. Again, that's the kind of thing I'm talking about tonight. But again, the one thing I'm taking on right now is my own personal bias in this chase with evidence. You know, when we look at evidence, there are things we remember in our head, and we're remembering those things in our head as we're looking at the evidence, and that, whether we like it or not, that can sometimes guide where we go with things. So for instance, if I'm having it in my head that, oh, Malcolm Gordon one, interesting, I wonder if I had him. If I had it in my head that where one waters halt is different than WWWH, oh fuck, I don't think I have enough Malcolm Gordon. 10% Malcolm Gordon. Oh, that is no bueno. That is no bueno. All right, where was I? If I don't have it in my head, if I have a preconceived notion in my head that WWWH could be different in terms of how Forrest Fenn takes it to where warm waters halt, I know that sounds ridiculous. Then all of a sudden I'm looking for different things. So, you know, when we're researching, let's keep in mind what it is we're trying to research. So I like the Madison as it, but for right now, I'm taking that out. If whatever we look at now leads to the idea that the Madison is it, whew, I would love that even more. So I want to find a sentence from Fenn where it doesn't say begin it. I want to see a sentence from Fenn that he's saying, okay, here we go. So I don't even think I need this. Fenn, no, and I already have, okay, so no, the first clue in the poem is begin it where warm waters halt. That's the first clue. If you can't figure that clue out, you don't have anything. So, as Candy said, Fenn is quoted in saying the first clue in the poem is begin it where warm waters halt. However, hey, Ashley, if you're watching, are you going to jump on? I don't want to do this by myself. This is Ashley and Ben show, not just the Ben show. He flat out says what the first clue is, but he has told us that nothing he does in this chase is leading us to the treasure. What he's doing is keeping us out of danger. So and I believe, I don't know if I have that clue highlighted, but he has been on record. So because we have this, right? I'm going to move on. Oh, you messaged me on Discord. Well, let me stop the share for a second. Can you say, oh, okay, I see. I gotta do that. All right, so I'm gonna send, no, I don't want to stop the stream. Jeepers creepers, lemon beepers. Hold on, I don't know how to do this shit, man. just don't know how to do this shit. View live on YouTube. I don't know how to share a link. I went to the more, just to stop live stream. I just, can you log? I don't know. Can anyone tell me where? I'm gonna look at chat for real quick. I hate the delay here, so I'm gonna have to like sit here and wait till chat catches up, but maybe I'll find it before chat does catch up. I was on a roll there. I was on a roll. I don't know where I was on a roll to nothing. Hey, here's a question while I do this. Can God create a rock that he is or she is or they are too heavy to lift themselves? Discuss. Can God create a rock that is too heavy for them to lift? All right, now where is, I don't know how to share this shit. No. You know what I think I did? I think I like got very, oh, here we go. Copy link. Here we go. All right, Ashley, I figured it out. There we go. There we go. Whew, that took a lot of Zoom foo. I say Google foo, but that took some Zoom foo to figure that out. All right, so we figured that out. Where was I? I don't fucking know where I was. If you can't figure out that clue, if you can't figure that clue out, you don't have anything. Okay, so Fenn is telling us first clue is begin at where warm waters halt. Now let's find the quote where Fenn says he's not helping us find or get closer to the treasure. He's keeping us out of danger. I think it's keeping. Let's just try the word keeping, right? This is how I fucking, oh, and it shows us keep. I hate this. Hey, Richard, what's up? I hate this. So I type in the word keeping and it shows me all the keeps. And it's like, bro, I typed in keeping. There's like a Google way to get out of this. And it doesn't work on this. God bless it. All right, so let's do out of danger, if that's the phrase. No, that's not it. You know what? If my memory is right, I'm fairly certain this was towards the end. So if you get to the end of Terry Scant, when we get to kind of like chapter or we get to 2018, yeah, the inputs, if you will, are a lot smaller. Like, I mean, look, this is, I just scrolled 2 pages and it's 2018 and unknown dates. And it's, you know, okay, so are the clues in the book? Yes, because the poem is in the book. Okay, so again, this is kind of the whole theme. Hey, Ashley, I think I see you. This is the whole theme of the show tonight, guys. Are the clues in The Thrill of the Chase? Yes, because the poem is in the book. This is where he delineates for a lot of the people here who, not you guys. You guys are pretty solid with this, but there are a lot of people online who will just go to clue or hint or clue or hint or hint or clue willy-nilly. Clues. There are 9 of them, and they belong in the poem inside the book called The Thrill of the Chase. Hints are anything else outside of the poem that could exist, and I think only exist within The Thrill of the Chase. But I think if anyone has an argument for where hints exist, if the hint exists in his other books or his scrapbooks or emails or quotes of any kind, sure. But then those are all called hints. There are no clues ever given out ever in the history of the chase, aside from the 9 clues in The Thrill of the Chase, which also then leads me to another rabbit hole I was going on this morning, which was the 10th clue, which is only called the 10th clue, I believe, by Doug Preston in his foreword. However, Forrest pretty much endorses this 10th clue about the Denver airport. However, then corrects Doug Preston and says, listen, it's not the Northern Arizona University parking lot. It's the Denver Science Museum parking lot, or something to that effect. Is someone else on? Ashley, you there?
Yeah, Jack said he read the poem from the bottom up.
Jack said he read the poem from the bottom up in addition to reading the poem any which way he could possibly fathom in an attempt to understand whatever it is he was missing in the poem, correct? I mean, bottom up was only one of a few options that he actually did, right? I've tried to read the poem bottom up. Ashley, you're muted if that's okay, if you're trying to talk. I've read the poem bottom up. It's an interesting thing. Let's read the poem right now from the bottom up. Okay. Let me get a good copy here, and so I can actually read it.
Just makes me think of that song. Started from the bottom, now I'm here.
Started from the bottom, now we're here. Let me screen share here, and so that you guys can get just a visual while we're doing it. Okay, so let's start it from the bottom. I give you title to the gold. That's a bold fucking way to open a poem. I give you title to the gold. If you are brave and in the wood, your effort will be worth the cold. So hear me all and listen good. I'm sorry, just that stanza alone, you can read from the bottom to top, and it's almost a better fucking poem. Anybody in the chat want to disagree with me just on this bottom stanza, which also then would be the first stanza? Because I think that's fucking dope. I give you title to the gold. If you are brave and in the wood, your effort will be worth the cold. So hear me all and listen good. I mean, he's telling us to listen to the rest of the poem there. It's a dope way to interpret it. What do you think, Ashley? You got to unmute. There you go. You there?
I think it's definitely interesting. It's definitely interesting. I have to turn you down in here. I can hear you on all the TVs in our house.
Oh, because our littles are watching us too. You got to tell me when they're off so I can do the legal in California.
Well, they're over it now. They're definitely, they've gone already. If I could, hold on, I got to figure this out.
I love it again. I'm going to read it again. I give you title to the gold. If you are brave and in the wood, your effort will be worth the cold. So hear me all and listen good. That's a great opening stanza. It's just a great opening stanza. So let's see if it keeps going, though. Let's see if it keeps going. I've done it tired and now I'm weak. The answer I already know. And leave my trove for all to seek. So why is it that I must go? It's a little messy, right? It's a little bit more messy. Certainly not as sexy as that first stanza. It's a little, I actually had to throw some influx into my voice on certain moments to keep it making sense in my head. Let me read it like stale, right? I've done it tired and now I'm weak. The answer I already know, and leave my trove for all to seek. So why is it that I must go? You know what? When I said it fucking deadpan, it still it almost worked better. What do you think? I feel like I'm talking to myself, babe. You're not like saying anything. Like, yeah, Indy, if you want to jump in, like, please, because Ashley, I think, is having audio issues or something. Or maybe I smoked her out too much. It's interesting. I'd say it's a little bit messier than the first one. We'll move forward. Just take the chest and go in peace, but tarry scant with marvel gaze.
I realize I was muted,
down.
so can you shut up for a second?
You're talking over me in the middle of the poem.
Yep, I am, because you already talked over me, but you didn't realize it because I was on mute. So to read Indy's comments in the chat, it's 100% your fault. Everything is your fault because you came down here and put my phone on mute. This was originally meant to be a suicide letter. It only reads as a suicide letter from the bottom up. Do you think that is true, Ben? Do you think it reads differently from the bottom up? Versus...
Okay, so Indy is saying that
from the bottom up, it's a suicide.
I'm talking and then you. I can't hear you again. You're blanking out. From the bottom up, it's a suicide note. I understand that. That's what she's saying. If you read it from the bottom up, it actually sounds more like a suicide letter. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. And
yes or no?
This means by reading from the bottom up, it reveals either it, WWWH, or the Blaze.
Okay. I love it. this is the kind of shit I'm talking about. It has nothing to do with illustrations. We all know how Indy loves her illustrations. And if Indy, because you have COVID, I'm going to let you go there. Fine. But I want you on this shit because I want you to tell me how reading it from the bottom up also unlocks all this shit, because I think we're on to something here. So let me use my Google Foo. I think I have this thing copy and pasted still. So let me hop into our little thingy, Mabapi here. And a little bit of bang, a little bit of boom. There you go. All right, so I think it was sent to you. So I think we're on now. This doesn't mean we're right. Some people out there could hate what we're doing right now. We're destroying what Fenn did with a poem, blah, blah, blah. Oh, fuck, that was all on screen share. Okay, anyway, they think we're doing a bunch of shit. I get it. I think at the very least, if we're trying to look at this poem in ways we're not accustomed to, that's the closest thing I can get to, personally speaking, as getting back inside the box. Let's get back to the stupid shit we would have done 30 to 60 seconds in when we started this chase. The first time we read that poem and go, okay, what's going on here? Those first 60 seconds might have held the fucking answers. And after that, and cleverly and on purpose, that this shit was designed to really, really fuck with our brains if we put more than a minute's thought into this. And maybe that's what Fenn meant by give it to a kid, because they have ADD. They have AD fucking D. And maybe it takes an ADD brain to really crack this, where you just can't let yourself overthink. I don't know. I'm waiting for Indy to jump in. Ashley is still muted. She's having audio issues downstairs, but that's because all our kids love us and want to watch us on this thing. And so I'm trying to behave, but you know, we did set it for 18 over. It's up to the parents to decide. What?
I'm not muted. You're just talking over me.
I mean, we've never had this issue before where you start talking and I'm quiet and then you go silent. We can roll tape afterwards just to show you.
Hi.
Hi, Candy. You sound better.
I never learn.
You sound a little bit better, but I still hear the misery in your voice.
It's because I've been like drinking so much green tea. I'm pretty sure my body's like 90% green tea. So yeah, the poem, reading it from the bottom up. Reading the poem from the bottom up gives you his suicide letter. This was originally supposed to be a suicide letter where he dared us to come and rob his grave. Remember? So reading from the bottom up is, in my opinion, one of the things that the majority of searchers never tried to do. And by reading from from reading from the bottom up, just because it says to just take the chest and go in peace doesn't mean it ends there. He's telling you what you need to know in order to get ready to go boots on the ground.
Okay, so here's my issue with bottom up, and it's what always, okay, so like in my solve, Colorado solve, that Uncompahgre River flowed from south to north. So I was like, oh, dope, let's read the poem south to north, right? So I did this. I took it as a suicide note up until the point where, so I'm gonna read, we've read the first couple of stanzas. I'm just gonna read it without getting into it, but I'm gonna stop where I think I go at least. I don't know if I can read this backwards and think this makes sense. So hear me out. So we do the, okay, I give you titles of gold if you are braving in the wood. Your effort will be worth the cold, so hear me all and listen good. I've done it tired and now I'm weak. The answer I already know, and leave my trove for all to seek. So why is it that I must go? It definitely sounds like suicide. Just take the chest and go in peace. The chest isn't the fucking point here. Just take it. I get it. You looted me. I've looted people. I'm committing suicide. We're in the same thing here. It works. But tarry scant with marvel gaze. Look quickly down your quest to cease if you've been wise and found the blaze. Now he's telling us to look down after we've gotten the chest. So maybe this implies there's something under the chest, like his bones perhaps. Just heavy loads and water high. Now this could then become a reference to whatever you're finding when you look quickly down, right? It's no longer heavy loads and water high in a creek because we're going bottom top. So heavy loads, water high refers to whatever you're seeing when you look quickly down after you've picked the chest up. The end is ever drawing nigh, suicide. From there, it's no place for the meek. I think at this point, Forrest is thinking about entering the afterlife. From there, it's no place for the meek, right? Put in below the home of Brown. Now, at this point, I'm starting to get worried as a person reading it from the bottom to the top. Put in below the home of Brown. Now that needs to have some kind of reference to the afterlife, if that's where we are in the poem. Not far, but too far to walk, getting to heaven. That makes perfect fucking sense. Take it in the canyon down, a view, just being in heaven. Awesome. Begin it where warm waters halt. Now I'm fucked. The end of this poem, we're not even at the end of this poem, but now I'm forced to face the phrase that says, begin it where warm waters halt. Are we saying reincarnation? And that's what's happening in the poem, reincarnation?
No, it gives you the T.S. Eliot quote where you have gone full circle. You arrive up to the place that you first showed up at.
I get that, but I like that, the beginning, where
so
wherever
like,
you go, there you are kind of thing. I understand, but in terms of a thematic poem, right? If it really is supposed to be read bottom to top as a suicide note.
Well, that's the thing, Ben. You're not supposed to read it from the bottom up as a map. You're supposed to read it from the bottom up to understand how to read the map. And the map is from the top to bottom.
Okay, so but then me as a writer is begging for the idea that the story should also fit as well. I get, okay, this is the key. We got to read it bottom to top because now we're really understanding it's a suicide note, and doing that will really give us the proper instructions to find the chest. But what I also want in conjunction with that is the storyline making sense. And when we get to this second to last stanza, second to last being, second from the top, I need this begin it to where warm waters halt to make sense thematically as well. So I'm asking, is he maybe hinting at the idea, and this is where we get into Cult of the Relics, is he maybe hinting at the idea of he has entombed himself with his treasure, he has done the sacrifices needed to get to the proper place in the afterlife, and then he's ending this stanza with begin it where warm waters halt, and all of a sudden it is life. And now he goes, hint of riches new and old, and keep my secret where, and with my treasures bold, as I have gone alone in their life. So is he coming back to life in the final stanza? If he is, then this thematically makes sense. And now I can actually pay attention to this being a map from the bottom up. If it doesn't make sense thematically from the bottom to the top to me, then I disqualify it. Does that make sense? And maybe that's to my detriment, but
I'd like to know how reading it from the bottom up tells you how to read the map, Candy.
So basically, when you read from the bottom up, first it tells you his suicide note, right? And what he was planning. Why do you think the if you've been wise and found the blaze is past tense? Because if you read to a certain point in the poem, it's all past tense, right? So he's telling you what you need to do in order to start with clue 1 and find your way boots on the ground to discover the chest. And I think that's what no one has tried doing. They're not trying to read it to understand the clues, not solve them, but he's giving you information that's going to help you. And I think that's how Jack did it. He even said he read it from the damn bottom up. And like Ben over here, I'm like fighting my damn lungs with him, but he's like, even though Jack said he read it from the bottom up, I don't agree with it. Like, it's true.
I don't think that's what I'm saying. Well, that's what
I'm saying. Like, you need to break it apart. Why is the blaze past tense? Why is everyone so focused on the blaze when if you read the entire story, especially from the bottom, he's telling you, you're going to be in the wood, you're going to be cold, all this other stuff. He's giving you very important key details that help you apply it to where you have to start.
And I think Jack is also saying this as well when he says, I'm not trying to say it was for an English major, but it's for an English major. You don't need to be an English major to look up words in a dictionary, but you do need to have at least some competency of English in order to understand the tense usages that he's doing. And this past, future, present tense shit that Forrest Fenn does in this poem is the trickiest thing, I think, about the poem. So I think you're onto something here, because if you do read it from the bottom to the top, the tense usage almost gets nullified in a strange way, because he's starting at present tense. I give you title to the gold. And then he's going future tense. If you are brave and in the wood. Present tense, your effort will be worth the gold. Present tense, so hear me all and listen good. Now he's narrating. If he ends this stanza at present tense with so hear me all and listen good, anything said after that no longer can be scrutinized on tenses. So he can go from past
So
to
can you separate?
Sorry?
Can you separate the words that are in those different tenses as different parts? Like, can you separate them?
Give me an example.
All the past tense as clues.
Oh, yeah. No, I've tried to
what
do
the
that.
present tense
I've tried to
is.
do that. I'm sure Candy's
Well,
tried
that's
to
the
do that. I've
thing.
tried to just.
Everyone's petrified of messing with the poem because that's what Fenn said not to do. Don't mess with the poem. Fenn said, don't worry about the damn marking on the chest. Anything he says that people don't want to do, that's where you have to do it, because that's what the entire definition of imagination is. There's no boundaries. There's no box. You have to do whatever the hell you want. That's why I changed the word halt to chalk. Everyone got mad, but you know what? It rhymes.
And I gotta say, I think Forrest Fenn himself could get himself out of this and go, I was replying and responding, albeit publicly, to a specific question. And in that question, I said, don't mess with my poem, because what they were specifically saying would be messing with my poem. But the specific answer, even if it's 99.9% of what that question was, it's not the same thing. And he can just get away and say, I told them no to that. That didn't mean I said no to this. So, I mean, he can get himself out of all of that. So we really do have to, what I think we have to do is look at the things where he stays consistent on, not just one-off answers.
And play it on our own egos. We would literally say stuff to him and he would turn around and repeat what we said right back to us. And then we took it as, oh, we got insider information, when we didn't. We were just an idiot.
Like, give me an example.
Like, oh God, there's so many. Like, anytime people tell him information or say stuff and then he's like, I never said Homer Brown was a trout or whatever, people will be like, is Homer Brown a trout? And he said, I never said Homer Brown was a trout. Like, people will tell him that, and then he like just,
which doesn't mean that it's not. He's just saying, I never said that.
Yeah, and he literally just plays off of, like, when I was at his house, he knew every single time he would open an email for me, it was about the fire hole. So when I was at his house and I didn't want to talk to him about the damn chase, all he talked to me about was the damn fire hole. Do you not get that? He likes to play on your ego.
Fuck, I was gonna say something, I forgot it. Shit. He does these tricks. Fuck, I was gonna say something and I forgot it.
He does lots of tricks. He's a word master. And the most important thing you need to pay attention to is, he said on record, the first clue is begin it where warm waters halt. It is the most important clue there is in this entire
poem. Why
poem.
does he give us the first clue? Why does he obsess saying, God, if you don't have the first clue, you don't have anything. If you don't have the first clue, stay at home and play canasta. Oh, by the way, here's the first clue. Doesn't that feel like, I kind of feel like he's messing with us?
Well, grammatically speaking, he's trying to help our dumbasses, because everyone's so focused on warm waters, they don't see what you're supposed to actually find, which is it.
So the first clue is not even the whole line. The first clue is just begin it. Maybe that's clue 1, and where warm waters halt is clue 2.
Actually, you need to break it down like this. Begin is separate. It is separate. Where is separate. The warm waters halt is the same as the where. So everyone focusing on begin it where warm waters halt, they're not going to be able to make sense of anything. What they have to do is they have to separate the warm waters, and they have to focus on the where and the it.
But that quote does say he puts the whole line in as the first clue.
Yeah, he does. But that's what I'm saying. You have to break it down. You can't just go around focusing on all the warm waters. Like, I think that is what set everyone back for so long. You have to focus on the it, and you have to focus on the where. He even says, I can keep my secret where. You need to find the where. So I believe that's the most important detail that everyone's skipping out on.
Well, didn't he say that if you don't have the where warm waters halt, you shouldn't even leave, you shouldn't even search?
Yeah.
So of course that's why everyone was stuck on that and maybe made it bigger than it was. Maybe you're right. Maybe that's why they were all paralyzed, because they couldn't figure out the first clue. But like, are you saying that there's more than one clue in that sentence?
Yes. There's the it, there's the where.
That's what I'm saying. So 2 clues are in that same line.
And I really think it's possible that it could be the blaze. I mean, I emailed Jack and asked him, and he was really squirrely about it.
What did you say and what did he say?
Hold on, let me pull it up.
Hold on, I want to quote K Pro here because she has heard it from the man himself on this one, and then we can debate that. WWWH.
Christy has literally heard so much from Fenn. Fenn has literally told Christy that the illustrations don't mean anything, yet he's on interview like 2 or 3 times saying that the drawings are worth more than 1,000 words. And another time he's saying literally take the sentences and then cross-reference them with the illustrations. So you got to be really careful.
I agree. Candy has a valid fucking point that I will never shut down on this, which is those.
And why was there so much drama?
But hold up. I'm not done. Capra also says, where one waters halt, then canyon. F told me so back when, first 2 clues. So then canyon. So one thing she is saying here, and it's not new, is not far but too far to walk was never a clue. Can we agree on that part? Just before we disagree on the rest?
Jack
not far but too far to walk was never a clue.
Walk is a relative distance.
That's it. That's all it is, a relative distance. That's it. It is not a clue.
Thing. Like when you read the poem, you have to pay attention. It's saying, and take it in the canyon down, not far but too far to walk, put in below the home of Brown. So home of Brown is gonna be in the canyon. It's saying you can't go past the canyon. Do you catch that?
Okay, so I do catch this. So here's what I'm going with this. The clues are instructions essentially. Begin it 1 and 2, right? Begin it where? That's clue 1 and 2.
Yeah,
Take
Jack
it
literally
in the canyon
said
down.
the clues are
3.
directions.
Right. So clues 1 and 2 are begin it where? 1 and 2. Take it down 3. Put in 4. From there 5. There will be no paddle. 6.
Well,
if
see,
you
this is the
7.
thing.
Look quickly. 8. Just take 9. That's it. There are no more instructions after that, aside from if you are brave and in the wood, but that's more the dare. So it feels like the 9 clues are the 9 instructions. That's it. Simplify the fuck out of this. Sorry, Ashley, I walked over you. Sorry, Candy, I walked over you, but I'm high, so.
Dude, you're hard to talk with the low oxygen.
I love when he says, like, I have mic issues. It's like, no, bro, you just don't take a breath.
You don't have mic issues right now. You're fine. You were cutting. I guarantee you when we go back, you will see you were cutting out. But keep going.
Jack
Anyway, do we agree the 9 clues are the 9 instructions?
All the clues Jack said are directions. And if you take it and you find what it is, you could actually replace the it in the poem and it will create an actual map for you. Whether that's the Madison or whatnot, I don't know, but it'll create a map starting with it. So anytime you see the word it in the poem and you replace it with, the Madison River, for example, it creates an actual map. It's telling you begin the Madison, where warm waters halt, and take the Madison in the canyon down, not far but too far to walk, put in below the home of Brown. From there, the Madison is no place for the meek. The end is ever drying knowing. There'll be no paddle up your creek, just heavy loads and water high. So it's literally going from taking you from a river into a canyon and finally branching off to a creek. And that's what a tributary of a river is. It's a creek. So it's not a far distance at all.
So then could we somehow squeeze the Madison in the other two its? I think we can do it in one of them. Can we do it in both of them? So why
Yeah.
is it that I must go? And then the other one is I've done it tired and now I'm weak. I've done the Madison tired, now I'm weak. Boom. I think that works. You agree?
Yeah.
Yeah. So then why is it that I must go? Is this then, does this show us our riddle? Is this actually the riddle instead of home of Brown? Because, and this is why I asked this, every other it is taken away from this exercise, because that it is the Madison. If you figured out it, you have now figured out every antecedent of it throughout the poem, except for one. It leaves us a glaring red flashing light. And that red flashing light is, so why is it that I must go? So does it become the Madison? If it does, then this is done. If it isn't the Madison, is it a glaring red light? If it is a glaring red light, then what are we looking at here? Is it truly giving us the state? So why is it, as in Wyoming is it? And is it giving us the riddle that we need to solve at the same time? So it's Forrest, if through this process we have figured out, assuming we're right, Forrest has told us the state by telling us to stare at this one single line. And then he's also saying, here's the riddle. Those are two confirmers if I've ever seen them.
Well,
So
you need to take a
it?
step back, and you have to realize so why is it that I must go? I've done it tired and I'm weak. That's actually, you'll find his own words in My War for Me, not the one from TTOTC, but from the post that his military Fenn posted online with the blue writing. At the very beginning, he says in his own words the exact thing that is in the poem. So that's why I keep saying My War for Me is super important. And the fact that Jack said it's not important, I think he's totally bullshitting, because it's a huge piece to the puzzle. And I don't think he wants you getting near it. Like, I'll pull it up and show you. It's
yeah,
like,
please do. Do you have screen sharing?
Hold on. I'll just send it to Ashley.
Ashley,
like,
babe.
Hey,
by the way,
great.
Take a breath. Take a breath.
This shit sucks.
I hear you.
Okay, so Fenn says, these emotions are not so much what I am writing, but what I am thinking, and all of it through the weakness of my words. So I've done it tired, and now I'm weak. So every time he says it, you got to pay attention, and you really got to pay attention.
Does that really answer does that answer the possible riddle of, so why is it that I must go? Because are we really believing that he's giving us the answers with the question? Does that really seem like a proper thing in a poem?
You need to read the original draft. Here, I'm sending it to Ashley. You need to read
My War for Me?
Yeah, not the TTOTC one, the original one.
I've read the original one, or at least I've read a version that he posted in 2004.
It's 2006
or 6. Sorry, what?
And you got to compare
2004 version.
You got to compare it to the TTOTC
version
because
I've compared it 2004 version to the TTOC version.
For the love of God, let me talk for a second. You have to compare TTOTC with this one, because there's some very important things that he literally took out of TTOTC, including the asterisk. Jack won't mention that, even though I brought it up to him. And I have the email, he said he found clues by comparing his original writings to the ones in TTOTC. So the only other ones of a source of material you can use aside from this is Bozeman Daily Chronicle, which is the one about the Totem Cafe caper and a few others. So it's really important that you pay attention to that information.
I sent it to you on Discord then, but this is still, while interesting, we're still using something other than the poem for this.
I agree.
Right, by comparing the War for Me.
Yeah, and I've seen this version. I see it. Yeah, no, I've seen this version. I've seen another version that I swear was from 2004. I feel as if I read a 2004 version in like a publication. I did a Google search of Force Fenn and a few different keywords, and
The
I
2004
I don't know.
version you're talking about is actually the military one. I found that
Okay, so
one
that's
and
probably
I sent it to Fenn, and he
yeah.
told me that's written in military jargon. So he kind of like broke it down for me. But another thing that you didn't notice is that he never mentions the waterfall in the 2004 one, only the 2006 and TTOTC.
You know what? That's so interesting. I did notice it. Someone had actually emailed me about that, about the missing waterfall, and that's actually what sparked me to go to the 2004
That was
version.
probably me.
So, well, listen, hey, you have COVID right now. I had COVID about a year ago. It does fuck with your brain. It really does. I get some brain fog. It's not the weed, but most of the time it's the weed or the concussions. But welcome to my world, Candy.
What sucks is it's not COVID, it's Delta. It's so much worse.
Well, Delta, COVID, we're family through excruciating pain, are we not?
Yeah.
I'm here to make you smile right now when this shit is at its
Ben,
worst. So that when you look at this, yeah.
Can you just for a minute be like, yes, Candy, you're going through something terrible. It's worse than I had it. It sucks.
Candy,
That's
what you're going through
fine.
is terrible. It's worse than I had, and it sucks. Believe me, I'm all like I feel like shit for you, Candy. That's all. That's how I release. I'm sorry.
Dude, it's fine. It's not like you're Greg and going around telling everyone I'm faking COVID.
Is that what he's doing?
Who cares?
Whatever. Fuck this guy. Whatever.
So you're good.
Anywho, what we're doing here is looking at this poem in a way that I haven't seen people talk about in quite some time. I know that did Smell the Sunshine do solves? He didn't do solves. He just dug into Fenn's past, right?
I actually know his solve. I used to email him all the time, and he was actually Red Canyon.
Fucking Red Canyon. See, babe, but you know what? A lot of people said Red Canyon, right? There's a lot. I think Rudy was Red Canyon at one point.
Yeah, but that's what sucks. Red Canyon is Montana, but Red Canyon is where Gotti nailed those Baby Ruth candy bar wrappers to a tree or whatever. I can't sign. Dale found them. Fenn said that Gotti came within 1,000 feet of the chest. Like, there's so many weird coincidences. But then Fenn told Dale and Stephanie that they actually drove past it at one point. So it means it's relatively close to a road. And it's about 300 feet, give or take, from that road, if all the information she told me is correct. So far, the only things that like narrow down where Dale went that he didn't actually search is that border area between Wyoming and Montana of the Riverside area, because when he was on Amy's channel, he actually said it was Baker's Hole and the Barnes Holes where he went to take the picture. And that's the only place he didn't search because he was sent there by Fenn. I mean, I was even sent to Baker's Hole by Fenn. And like, what's more funny than sending people right past the chest? He sent like Diggin' Gypsy to Baker's Hole.
So he can write about you in articles.
I have a question. As someone that came into this new, like after it was done, my question to you guys that knew Fenn, that messaged with him or met him, do you think it helped or hindered? Like, because I don't have all of this knowledge of what Fenn said this and Fenn said that's not right. So when I initially started, I could just go off whatever I thought. Like whatever I thought, whatever came to my mind, I could go off of. It wasn't, well, that can't be it because Fenn said it wasn't. Homa Brown can't be this because Fenn said it wasn't. Do you think that helped in your search or hindered you?
That hindered the hell out of it, because the entire time he was talking to me about the fire hole, I was under the impression that It was the fire hole, but it took me like 6 years to figure out that damn anagram. He's a fucking genius. It was like a coded anagram, and then once you have the anagram decrypted, then it's the secret message within an anagram. And you can't tell me that isn't an anagram. Like, there's so much put into that damn thing. Like, the first stanza of the poem anagrams to another message, but that's the thing. He said, like, don't mess with the poem. So I'm not messing
that's
with
where
the
I go,
poem.
nope.
I'm
with
messing with
you
the
on
book
every
title.
anagram until you fucking use the poem. Once you use
Yeah.
the poem, you no longer anagram, in my opinion. But
That's
I could be
why
wrong.
you
I
use
don't
the
have the
book
chest.
title.
So. Right.
That's
So I'm with you on that. I'm with you on the book title and everything in the book. But when it comes to the poem, he was very explicit, and through other readings of him, simple things like anagrams, simple things like simple substitution, like A = 1, B = 2.
Well,
all
this
that
is where
he has
everyone's messing
said
up,
is a
Ben.
code or a cipher. What?
Everyone's messing up because they're too afraid to challenge Fenn. He said, don't use any ciphers, codes, or anything like that in the poem. Okay? Well, we're not doing that. Even though there are actual anagrams in the poem, it doesn't mean it's going to help. The only thing that's
But that's
helping
where I'm
is
saying,
the book.
That's what I'm saying. He knows that someone like you will pick up on the fact that he said, don't use those things on my poem. I didn't say don't use those things on my book. And that's exactly what you did. You could see something in the poem, but you weren't willing to use it. You went to the book and looked for those same things and you found them. And those things actually helped lead you to a spot to start. I think that's exactly what Forrest Fenn wanted you to do. I think you did exactly what he wanted you to do.
I'm going to say this right now. Like, ever since the chest was found and like Fenn passed away, I didn't have shit figured out until all that happened, because I finally was able to only use the book in my research.
Right.
I didn't have anything to piggyback off of, and I'm just like now finally understanding so much. And Jack himself said that the illustrations are so important, just like Fenn said. So there's no way this is going to be solved if we're not going to be using the illustrations and the chapters in the book, because those chapters are literally meant to be used as a way to help you maneuver through the poem itself. Like, No Place for Old Biddies, it talks about him being too afraid to run away from home and cross the street. So it's basically telling you either you have to cross a river, you have to cross a street once you get to the home of Brown. And it breaks down into that, and you can only figure that out by finding the F with the dot hidden within certain illustrations in the book. That's one of the aberrations that he gave us.
The F with the dot is something that I never noticed until you pointed out to me, and I felt like an idiot for not seeing afterwards. I don't know about you, Ashley, but I was certainly going, man, the things I did with this book, and I didn't see that stupid F and a dot. I felt like such an idiot. So I'm very thankful that you showed that to me.
Well, it wasn't me that found it. It was Gallatin.
Well, listen, you showed it to me. Gallatin found it. You and Gallatin are fucking teammates and partners, and that's how this works. You guys work together. You crack something. Eventually, you shared it when you couldn't figure out what it meant, and we're post-find, but you guys are stuck together like that. I wish everybody. Again, I sound preachy, but I wish everybody would realize we're all doing the same things, trying to find the same thing, and it's been found. So, what's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So us just competing each other for something that's already found is the most preposterous thing I think a human being could fathom when you really get down to it. Like, I get we all want to look for this, even if it's been found, and that's fine. But if we're going to do this post-find, let's do this together. Competing against you, even if there is something out there, that it's such nonsense.
Did
And honestly, if you have thousands, they should make fun of us.
Did
What?
K-Bro just call me a rooster?
I thought she said she owned one. I was like, oh God,
I'm
you and Ashley
going-
have a lot in common, K-Bro.
I'm going to fly my ass out to freaking Vegas and bop that woman on the damn head.
I'm sorry to
Hey,
interrupt.
If she's
can we
calling me a
Listen.
rooster.
Two things. Number one, I'm being heavily triggered by a spider in the windowsill that is killing a fly. And
There's a
Ew.
spider in the windowsill.
I don't know why it's bothering me so much because I don't
There's
like
a spider in the windowsill?
and it's killing a fly. It's like fucking injecting the fly with poison in the web. And it's like I can hear the fly crying in my ear. And I think I have to move seats because it's bothering me.
Are you going to kill this spider?
I tried to set the fly free and I can't. And now
Yes
the
or no
spider's
question. Are you?
spider's just I can't do anything. It's too late. And I'm actually I think I have to move. I'm gonna cry. So that's
Is
number
there
one.
a spider in
Kill a
our house?
spider.
I can't do it, Ben. I'm oh my gosh. This is terrible. It's like I'm watching a horror film. I have to move.
Is there? Can
Look
you
at
answer
that,
the
Jay.
question? Yes or no? Is there a spider in our house?
Ben, it's in the windowsill in the downstairs window. And it's like if you close the window, it would be outside.
On the inside house
Sweet
part or the
baby
outside house
Jesus.
part?
The inside house part. Just don't come downstairs.
We might have to end this one. We might
I'm
have
gonna-
to end.
I'm going to vacuum
I'm
it in
not
a
sure.
minute. I have the heebie-jeebies. But number two, I love chickens. I've been talking to Ben about chickens for 2 days now. So don't bring chickens up because I definitely want a chicken coop and I want chickens. And I love chickens. So don't worry. If someone called me a chicken, I'd be like, hell yeah, I am.
Well, Ben, the most important thing you need to pay attention to is
Yeah.
Scrapbook 50 because
Ah,
this is
Scrapbook.
where
All right.
the
Give me an
only
image.
searcher.
Where do I go? Where do I go? Where do we go? They aren't available anymore. If you're going to tell me about this, and I'm going to take this seriously, I need to look at it while you're telling me about it.
The only searcher in existence that has ever received the double omega symbols from Forrest Fenn himself is Diggin' Gypsy. And that's from Scrapbook 50. And it's the scrapbook where Fenn said if he was a betting man, he would bet on that woman. And then he goes on to say that she spent 4 days searching the Madison River up and down, specifically in the Barnes Hole to Baker's Hole area. So if that doesn't tip you off to where you should be searching, I don't know what will.
I mean, Candy, I'm with you, but I need you to have some water.
I've been
I need
drinking
you-
everything.
Okay, but I need you on camera, privately or something. But I need physical confirmation that you're going to drink some water.
I've been drinking water and green tea.
I need you to publicly but privately drink water. So bossy.
I swear Ben is
Look,
fired.
I want confirmation of life. I need, how many fingers am I holding up at Candy?
Ben, she's a woman. Okay, she's got this.
I'm not even looking at Zoom. I'm reading chat.
She's good. Do you hear her voice? Do you hear how irritated she is with you, Ben? If you can hear the irritation, that means she's feeling better. So leave her alone.
No mercy.
That's right.
Sweep the leg.
All I
Get him
know
a body bag.
it's really hard to go up against Ben when talking on Zoom.
I'm
That's
so
like
sorry.
a
I'll shut
workout in
up. You know what?
itself.
Here's what I'll do.
Ben also told
what
who
point?
to not leave Montana.
What?
Yeah, but that's the thing.
All right. I'm thinking now, you guys, I'm sorry, but like again, I'm new to all of this, but there's so many contradictions. Talk about contradictions in Jack emails. Like there's so many contradictions with what Fenn said versus what he meant. I mean, basically he was like a woman. He like said one thing but meant another thing. That's basically Ben dating me. That's how he feels every single day of his life, probably. So
That's why you have to
how do
stick
you
to the
listen
facts.
to anything that he says? How do you just not chuck all of it out?
You
I hear
can't
feedback.
you can't listen to what people say that Fenn said. You have to literally find the facts from Forrest Fenn's mouth himself. And in regards to Fenn telling Marty not to leave Montana,
Okay.
Scrapbook 50 wasn't even when she was searching Hebgen or Montana. Scrapbook 50 is when she was searching Wyoming on the Madison. So there you go, kids.
Again, can we get a visual Scrapbook 50? I want to be able to see it so we can look at it.
I think Huli has it, but I don't know where she is right now.
Is Huli here? Hey, or anybody in the chat, please. You know what? You give me this link, and I'm gonna wrench you. How about that? Bada bing, bada boom.
It's like, it's the shortest scrapbook ever, but it's literally the only time she's ever, like, the only other person in history that's gotten the double omegas is Eric Sloan. So the double omegas are the most important thing to pay attention to.
Wait, are we saying that Forrest Fenn has said, and you know, I still hear the same feedback, so it's not you, Ashley. And you know what? Even if it is you, Indy, we don't care. You have COVID, so feedback away. Who cares? People can suffer. Are you telling me that Forrest Fenn has confirmed that Eric Sloan was the only person on the planet to understand or decipher what the double omegas mean?
I'm not sure if Eric Sloan knew, but in $80 a square inch, that's the only place you see the double omegas aside from TTOTC. And then up until the revised edition of Once Upon a While, you've got the double omegas until the very end. He took out one omega. So what's up with the one omega? It's like,
I gotta agree. Yeah, you can't just use that. I mean, yeah, you could use that. Even, I mean, okay. I'm your best friend. I bury a treasure. I don't tell you what's up, but we have drinks about it all the time. Thank you, Rudy. Scrapbook 50 link. I'm gonna click that. And you know, we talk about this for years and years and years and years and years.
Well, according to
maybe you
K-Pro,
feel the right to just put that in.
Oh God, it's really hard for me to remember everything.
Just take your time. I'll shut up.
I don't even remember what I was gonna say now. According to K-Pro, Forrest Fenn and Eric Sloan wanted to make a treasure hunt together. So I think TTOTC is still part of that treasure hunt.
Or I mean, yeah. So if they did make the treasure hunt together, and they kept that secret, and we're all thinking Doug Preston. I mean, who are we to all not think that there's a part 2 to this? That's where I go, you know, I think there's a reason we're all still congregating as we're doing now on a Saturday night in the middle of warm July.
What's it, $80 per inch? I can't remember what the title is. I'm like going freaking crazy right now.
$17 a square inch, is that what you're saying?
There you go.
Yeah.
Sorry, Goldilocks.
Hey,
I got a 101 fever.
Hey, Rudy. If you can, if there's videos or pictures that we haven't seen or that maybe we go over again, or if you want to talk about what we're doing tonight is just kind of like trying to look at the poem in ways we haven't looked at again. I'd love for you to hop on that.
Dude, Goldilocks.
Message.
I'm not well.
Goldilocks is here. Goldilocks, you know what? What I'd love, do we have any kind of court updates? I know K-Pro posted in Thor for kind of an update. I wasn't able to see if there were updates, but it seems like...
Hold on, Ben.
Yeah.
Is there drama right now going on? Anan's saying there's like, he can't take drama. Where's the drama?
See, okay.
What's happening?
There's no drama. There's none. There's no drama in the chat. I've been keeping an eye on it. I've been in charge of the Zoom link all night. There have been no drama issues. We have no drama tonight. And you know what? We don't even need to censor Anon. I think Anon is just talking about their life, and something in their life is very, very, very drama filled. And sorry about that, Anon, but we're going to move on. Yeah, no,
I'm on record misquoting a title of a Forrest Fenn book. I clearly am not right in the head right now.
You are controversial, and you know what? Controversy creates cash. So yeah, there's certain people in this chase who love that. Should you order no cauliflower? I can't even say it. No cauliflower crust. There are two things that do not belong with a pizza. Those two are as following: pineapple and cauliflower.
The only thing
Got
that
it?
I can eat is freaking sauteed mushrooms. Everything else I cannot taste.
Fuck yeah, pepperoni mushroom. Mushrooms are great. Sauteed mushrooms, magnifique. Cauliflower? No. No. I'm not religious. I'm agnostic. I don't believe in any of your people's religions. But I'm sorry, Jesus didn't eat cauliflower. Jesus ate bread. And so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna eat bread. So I need a pizza.
Looks like people are getting annoyed with me. So
friggin' bread. You know what? If they're annoyed with you, we don't care. That's not how this channel rolls. We just fucking do the thing. What we are doing tonight is looking at the poem in a different way, and that has yielded results that I find interesting tonight. I'm actually gonna go back. I hate myself on fucking camera. I never ever like to see it. I'm actually gonna go back and watch this. I like what we're doing here, even if it's as something simple as looking at the poem from the bottom up. I think everybody in the chase has thought about doing that. And maybe they talked themselves out of doing it. They were just like, no, Fenn don't overcook it. Don't mess with my poem. All those things are applicable even if you read it from the bottom up. And again, for people in the chat, maybe who weren't here earlier, read that sucker from the bottom up. It does tell a different story.
You could try and bring Rudy on for a change of like point of view.
Not change. I want you on with Rudy, but you know what? You won't have to speak as much, and you can hold on to your oxygen, and you don't have to go out so much out of breath. And if anybody needs to cut me off, Rudy can cut me off because he doesn't have COVID right now. And so like I want to be on your side, but you're so weak. You're so feeble right now that I don't know if I can lower myself that far. Candy, I just don't know if I can do it. I feel as if I'm obligated to just talk over you because you can't fight back right now. And that sucks. But, you know,
Dick.
I love you.
Please tell Ashley to bop you on the head later.
She will, trust me. I guarantee you she's already planning something.
What are you talking about me?
Bopping me in the head for talking shit to Candy. Don't do it. I'm reading chat. See, that's nothing. She'll do something different later. The 9 clues are between the lines with halt and cease. Both mean to
Not expecting it.
Okay, not live. That's why the 2 omegas are important. Interesting, Lavender. Both the 9 clues are between halt and cease. Hold on. I was about to just be like, okay. But wait, between halt and cease? Wait, all 9 clues are between halt and cease. So that means beginning where warm waters are not a clue. Woof. All right, and then there's no clues after. What'd you do?
Oh, oops. Sorry. There's
no clues after cease. So Terry scans down to exit of the gold, have no clues. It's so outlandish. I want more. Give me more, Lavender. Anyway, what else is going on? I haven't gotten to hear much Candy yet. I agree, Rudy, but Candy's literally dying. So how dare you, sir? How dare you? Gallatin goes, hopefully not too far of a drive. I don't know. You guys are all talking about pizza power. Pineapple on pizza is not amazing. It's not amazing. MS, get the fuck out of here, sir. Exit the door right over there. Get the fuck out. Pineapple on pizza belongs with barbarians. So Ashley Power Pizzeria opening nation. Fuck yeah. And no pineapple. And if you ask for pineapple, we kick you the fuck out.
I'm about to order a super mushroom pizza because it's the only thing I could eat.
I gotta say, super mushroom is borderline insane. There is such a thing as too many mushrooms on a pizza. There's just too many mushrooms on a pizza. You need a meat to go with it, don't you? You need that pep. I think you need that pep with that.
Being a fungus, is that gonna help like grow the virus?
No, if anything, it'll fight it. Yo, I'm going to suggest to all 57 people watching tonight, do yourself a favor and eat a couple of fucking magic mushrooms. Go to your most trusted friend who would delve into this sort of thing. You all have one. You might not talk to them very often. Don't go to your local drug dealer or any of that. If you're in Colorado or maybe Washington, it might be legal at this point to do a mushroom. But either way, get it from someone you trust. If you can't get it from someone you trust, don't do it. But if you can and you get a proper magic mushroom, enjoy making love with the other side of the universe. Anyway, is Rudy coming on or not?
I'm not
Candy
sure.
dying? Candy, you're here. Okay, good. So, all right, bottom up. But do you understand where I'm saying, like, the narrative sense of bottom up? Once we get to begin it, where one wants halt, like, take away the fact. Okay, the way I look at it is this. Let's pretend there's not a treasure hunt, and we're just reading the poem, right? There's a teacher talking to like fifth graders about this poem, and the teacher says, hey, the trick about this poem is there's a second meaning. And in that second meaning, it is another story. So what you have to do is start from the bottom line and read it all the way up. Okay, if we're doing that, then once we get to the begin it where one waters halt portion, shouldn't we have that line make narrative sense into what we're reading? And doesn't it feel like it doesn't? Or am I wrong?
Hold on, I'm ordering a pizza. I'm straight up like dosing this shit with raw
That was
garlic.
the most calm question. That was the most calm, cool, collected question I could come up with. I'm gonna go get a beer after that. So, hey, Ashley, do you want to sit on camera over here so I can go get a beer and go pee? And if anyone wants to hear that question again, they can rewind it because there's no way I can say it like that ever again. Anyway, enjoy.
I want to tell you, Davio, that as a little girl, I won a contest for DARE. I won an art contest. I did art to keep kids off drugs. And I won the contest. And my mom was a smoker, and I came home with a big no smoking sign. And now I smoke weed. But as a kid, I was like, don't do drugs. And I won. That's why I'm so successful now. Sorry, that's not Fenn related. I got to get back. I'm serious. Andy, you're ordering pizza. Where are you ordering from? We're ordering California Pizza Kitchen.
I'm getting mod pizza.
Oh, that's good too.
Yeah, but I'm pissed I can't have a no-name freaking cupcake because sugar fucking like grows the virus.
Yeah, and stay away from sugar for real. That's not good. Okay, K-Pro, you sent me the link. I got it to the 9 clues video. Mike did. Cool. I have it on my phone. I'm gonna send it to Ben.
Yeah, no, I wanna make sure we promote Mike's 9 clues video so that because it's a really good video. Oh, we're still live. Anyway, yeah, promote that video. I think it's a really good video. It's informative. I
have the link. What do you want me to do with it? Are you getting your drink? Or are you sitting down?
Yeah, I'm gonna have a beer. I'm gonna chill. You do your thing. Talk to the world. Talk to the fucking world. Say hi to them.
So low, your screen. It's like your thing
The
is
brightness.
so dim. Yeah.
I know. But if you do this, like watch, if I did this,
It did nothing.
it did absolutely nothing. And see, that's the magic of 2021 right there.
You're cute.
Can you see me over here?
No.
Can I see your phone?
Yeah.
I need to see how my draft team is doing. Talk to the world. Tell them how you would look at the poem. What's your solve, Ashley Power?
I kind of thought that it was all in one place. So I thought all the clues that you would start in one place and end up in the same place. That was my thought. I didn't like all of this Google Maps and Ben showing me taking in the canyon down 1,200 feet. You know, I wasn't into that. So I thought it was just a smaller search area. That's what I thought. Not for now, just FYI. Okay, yeah, definitely. We've got it. I'll show it to them. We'll watch it.
How do I shut off the Zoom shit?
You have to like close it.
I'm just disconnecting audio.
Okay.
Much better.
I miss food.
Can you taste anything?
Today I ordered
Rudy
a plate of
wants to join.
veggies.
Go just press Control V. It should already be tasted or copied.
The
You want me
only
to put it in the chat?
thing
Oh
I
no,
can
no, no.
actually
I gotta find wherever you
Go to
guys think
Reddit.
Rudy.
Go to Reddit. Go to Reddit. Here, I'll do it.
I don't know where Reddit is.
Rudy. Rudy, hold on. I got you, Rudy. Here we are. Let's go.
Oh, you came in and just brightened up.
Oh,
It
it's
just
right.
made your
I
face.
brightened up your day. Don't hit me while I do this Reddit. Here we are. And
I'm pretty sure I'm like tripping balls right now because Ben sounds like a fucking Hobbit character.
He sounds
Very
like
good.
Mrs. Doubtfire
Yes.
almost.
We're going on an adventure.
So sometimes when I get a little
Oh my
irritated or I'm
God.
in a bad mood, Andy then starts talking
That's
to me
not
like
it.
this in these voices.
That's not the link. There we are. There we go. Do this. There we do it. Right. There we go. Copy link. That's right. There we go. Copy. Hey. Boom. Diddling dong ding dong.
And so when I ever wonder, like, oh my gosh, I know that I was married for like 2 bazillion years, and that's why I wasn't single. And I think, how did Ben stay single all these years waiting for me? And then he does voices like that, and then I go, oh, that's it.
No one was worth more time. Book them all, mate.
That's cute. But I don't even now. I'm on all your Reddit. I don't even know what's
Well,
happening
let's
here.
get rid of all that. Yeah. There
Oh,
we
here.
are.
Do you need to admit him? Here.
Oh shit! There he is.
There he is.
Very
There he
good.
is.
Yes. All is right with the world. It's very good. Yes, yes.
I'm sort of just dropping money left and right on food that I probably won't be able to eat.
Save it for later. Hi, Rudy.
Hello.
Hey, Rudy.
Hi, Candy. What did I miss?
So drop the knowledge, Rudy. Drop it for me. Be my
let's
Fenn.
see.
Tell me the news.
Listen. There it is. It's dropped. I don't know what
I
the
would need to
news
get a hat
is.
so I look like Rudy.
Well, this is my treasure hunting hat, so I figured people might not recognize me without it.
All right, so I made fun of Ben because he has a similar hat, and I was like, "Excuse me, but
I've seen it.
hat
It's a great hat. You need those sorts of hats when you're out in the wilderness. So
There you go. See, it's function. It's not fashion.
Fuck.
Guess what my
So
answer
what's,
would be if Ben proposed to me in his treasure hunting hat.
this is actually like my third treasure hunting hat. I lose stuff all the time. So this most recent one I purchased in the 2020 treasure hunt from the Target in Bozeman because I'd lost one on a previous hunt. So here we are.
So is it good luck for you?
Apparently not.
Okay, so do you have a theory on just the poem by itself without anything additionally?
A theory on the poem by itself. Tell me what that
Like
means.
when you were doing your solve, do you have a solve where like can you see where you can look at the poem and go, okay, this is a map and these are clues and these are directions without reading TTOTC or any of the other scrapbooks or anything like that? Do you think that there are actually, do you think it's possible to solve it without reading the book, or do you think the clues in the book are necessary?
Hints in the book.
Or the hints, not clues. That's different. That's right. That's different.
If you're, I think what you're asking basically is if I have a like poem purism like outlook, would that be sort of generally accurate?
Yep, absolutely.
I would say no, because I think that's just too vague. And we have to account for the little girl in India. So remember, that was one of the very first questions that I asked Jack back in December when he first released his email, was going, because that was something I was always curious about, is how did those relate to the rest of the material? And you can leave Jack out of it and just go, how do we resolve the fact that this girl has two tools? She has a map in the book. We don't know how detailed of a map, but we'll assume it's a good map. And she can't get past clue number 3, meaning that she has to have something else to get at least further than the first 2 clues. She can't get closer than the first 2 clues, is what Forrest said. So if you can't do that, according to Forrest, with just the poem and a good map, then you have to have something else. What else would that be? The other third item that he introduced was the thrill of the chase in his list of like
but the more and more that I
materials.
hear, I got to be honest, the more and more that I hear, is like this, the information you have from Forrest is about just as helpful as it is hurtful. Like it's just as confusing as it is helpful. So I don't know anymore. Reading what Forrest has to say, like I don't know if that's a hint and it's helpful or if it's just to confuse everyone. I got to be honest.
Yeah, but we were stuck in the same situation before the chest was found too, right?
That's
I mean,
true.
how did we know how to evaluate any of this information? And the longer the chase went on, the more muddy the waters got. Even Forrest warned about that.
Okay, so when the solve was announced, do you think that we're in a better situation as searchers?
The find was announced, you mean, right?
Yeah, well, that's right. We don't even, okay. Yeah, so when it was announced that it was found, you think you're in a better place or a worse place?
Since the chest was found, and then since the finder like outed themselves?
Since Jack was announced as the finder.
Oh, well, when Jack was announced as the finder, I became a little more optimistic that we could do it because it provides another pathway to get there. We could, he's going to leave more breadcrumbs than Forrest would in terms of, because he's not being quite as careful in his responses. That was something Forrest practiced for years. So, I mean, your original question though still is going like, what can we get out of the poem? And I don't think we can get past 2 clues.
Okay.
And that's irregardless of whether you believe Jack or whether he's giving us accurate information. That was information from Forrest. So that would be my opinion.
Perfect time. Keep talking. I'm gonna get the actual quote just so we can talk about it here. India. Nope, that's just them talking. Hold on, I gotta get the actual quote.
It's from it's on Mysterious Writing somewhere.
What? Jungle cock? What the fuck?
Know.
What the hell have you guys unleashed?
Right. Sorry.
All right, hold on. No, I'm gonna share this just so y'all see what we're seeing. All right, you see this mouse? You see my mouse here? Look,
did I cover my eyes? Oh no.
Came from the jungle cock, which was a fowl indigenous.
He's talking about a rooster.
I know, but it's funny when you're trying to look for something else.
Why are there so many chickens and roosters this week?
Hold on, listen. We're trying to find the quote, right? Let's just find the quote.
I think
Can a little girl from India.
What quote are you guys looking for? I probably have it.
They're looking for the little girl in India.
Here we go.
Hold on. Wait. Can a little girl in India who speaks good English but only has your poem and a map of the U.S. Rocky Mountains work out where the treasure is? And would she be confident as she solves each clue, or only confident when she has solved them all? Now, the way the Terry Scant Kindle works, you have to understand sometimes they don't put a F or an FF or a Fenn in front of the quote, but this is the Fenn quote underneath. I wish I had another treasure to hide in the Appalachians. I think a lot of treasure hunters in this community would love an East Coast treasure hunt. And yeah, it's something that's been on my mind. Anyway, the little girl in India cannot get closer than the first 2 clues. There are many disabled people who are deeply into maps and geography, and they're having a lot of fun. So no one asked Fenn to include the concept of disabled people into this
but he did.
question, but he did. He forced it in, right?
Yes.
So
he does that. He's done that before too, where he adds to questions and gives a different answer than what the person asked.
And a lot of times he'll force feed us one of those regurgitated lines, like something I find hilarious. He'll ask something completely unrelated, and he'll talk about how, people email me how, Mr. Fenn, I know I'll never find your treasure, but I enjoy bringing my family out. Like he'll interject that into a lot of questions. Like he has these scripted answers to questions he just doesn't want to give an answer to. So, it's interesting that this little girl from India almost feels like it pushes Fenn back into a corner to bring up this whole disabled thing. Anyway, he continues, The thrill of the chase has become a part of many people's lives from across the world. People from across the world are searching for, okay, that's a whole blah, 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 where I'm applauding people, blah, blah, blah. But the whole point is, to what Rudy was saying, the little girl in India cannot get closer than the first 2 clues. There's also an email that was sent to him in the end of the chase that I highlighted. Oh, yeah, here we go. But now I have to find, where's the little girl from India part, right? For whatever reason I highlighted, let me give you an example. If I laid the chest on top of the ground in some weeds, I don't know why I highlighted that, but where's the little girl from India part?
You just clicked off of it. I think what you highlighted though is talking about whether it's buried or not.
Oh, here it is again. Oh, hi Forrest. Okay. So it was one of those questions where you wish the person would have done it differently. Hi Forrest. We are now aware that the poem is a map. This is, I think it is in 2017. Yeah. If the poem is a map and will tell us exactly where to go, why couldn't the little girl from India get past the first 2 clues? I think it's because after solving all 9 clues from home, the ocean prevents her from journeying to the precise location to retrieve the test. And then Fenn goes, "Dear whoever asked this question, thanks for answering it for me." So, did they really answer it for them, or did they just answer it the way they thought the answer was and Fenn went with it? I find that follow-up. Go, Rudy. I just find this interesting to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, he did or the person answered the question. He's saying accurately that they answered it, but we don't know if it's the correct answer. So it's that follow-up question was completely wasted on whoever wrote it. And it's probably not even necessarily their fault, because out of all the questions that Forrest would have gotten, he probably sees this and goes, well, here's an opportunity. I can like publish something without telling anything useful. So you see evidence of how, he kind of liked to play that game with people, I think. So.
Agreed.
I think that was a more toying with searchers, not necessarily in a mean-spirited way, but he liked giving answers that weren't really that useful, but gives us just so much fodder to talk about.
Did you guys read Scrapbook 50? Did you
I haven't read any
guys read
Scrapbook.
Scrapbook 50?
I put the link in the chat earlier.
The link.
Yeah, the one with that was written about Digging Gypsy.
Yeah, the only searcher to ever get the double omegas from Fenn.
I know, right? I wonder
and
why.
She just happened to be searching the Madison.
Candy sounds like me at the end of the night, and when I've smoked too much weed and I'm just trying to go to bed. Like, Ben, can you please turn the TV down?
Go up and down.
Okay, I see Scrapbook 50 now. Searching for money galore.
Treasures galore.
I literally read the title, which said searching for money galore. I know I'm dyslexic, but I did learn to read. The two of you are ganging up on me. And you know what I have to say about it?
Don't pay attention to me.
Look at this rooster here, you guys. I'm just saying. He wants the chicken. It says right here with double omega. Babe, we're getting chickens.
Oh, dear God.
Forrest is telling me from the grave, I need another flock of chickens. Do I not, K-Pro? Please, come on. I do.
Did he make a scrapbook about cauliflower on pizza? Because that would be useful right now.
I almost got cauliflower pizza to piss off Ben, but
I'm gonna only serve. And you guys, in my pizzeria, I'm only gonna have cauliflower crust. That's gonna be a thing I do now.
I literally just got olive oil, crushed garlic, and mushrooms, no cheese on my pizza.
Wow, that's gonna be interesting.
I hope I could eat it. Everything else I cannot eat. Trust me.
Okay, guys, so explain to me, Candy and Rudy, because I'm new to all of this. Explain to me, like, honestly, what these scrapbooks are. Like, why were they published? What are they? And what's with the double omega after he wants the chicken?
The double omega is super important in my opinion, and I think Rudy
And why
agrees
is
with
it
me.
here? Why is it here in this specific location?
Because
Forrest
Marty,
like to toy with people.
no, Marty was the first one to get close. She was the one that, like, I think this is back in 2013. This is before she searched Hebgen. This is before she was searching Montana. She searched the Wyoming side of the Madison River. And in that scrapbook, he literally tells you that she spent 4 days nonstop searching a specific spot on the Madison River. And thanks to Gallatin, that location has been revealed. So pay attention to the damn Madison.
Oh, I'm on the team. Don't worry about that.
Okay.
I'm not high enough for this. Sorry guys, I can't.
Ashley.
I'm looking at a pickup truck and a rooster and double omegas, and this is supposed to be important.
But listen, when you're looking up a pickup truck and a rooster, this is when you need to let your high boyfriend come in and explain to you the connections between blue and cock. Let's do it.
Just read the scrapbook, you goober.
Wow.
Yeah, what are we looking at? What am I missing here on Scrapbook 50?
Read the scrapbook.
It's fine. I'm over these scrapbooks. I hated the scrapbooks, guys. I just hated the scrapbooks.
The damn scrapbook.
Rudy, did you hear that? I didn't hear that.
Do it now.
I've read Scrapbook 50 like 10 times.
Rudy, you can feel free to freaking read it. I'd read it, but I'd probably pass out.
All right.
All right, I will perform Scrapbook 50.
All right,
Because okay. Treasure searchers are an inventive lot and industrious and energetic. I guess it comes with the genre. A pretty blonde-haired woman from Georgia has made the long driving trip to New Mexico, Wyoming, and Montana more than a few times. Last summer, she spent 4 days treasure searching in one spot on the Madison River. Sleeping in the car doesn't bother this gal, and I think the Grizz are afraid of her. A recent email from her illustrates why we don't need an equal rights amendment in this country. She bought a 67 Ford for $400 so she could tear it up and sell the parts. The radiator alone is worth $450, and I suspect she knows about which she speaks. Just think what she's going to get for the grill, generator, air conditioner, tires, rear view mirror, and taillights. If I were a betting man, I'd bet on this woman. She had a pet rooster named John Wayne that she might sell to raise additional funds. Her neighbor brings her corn, and he wants the chicken. Double Omega.
Most important scrapbook there is.
But why the double omega?
I think if we focus on the why of the double omega, we're not going to make any progress, unfortunately.
But that's not fair. Why won't we make any progress? I don't like in a search. It's a treasure hunt. The book, the treasure hunt the book that the treasure hunt came in had a double omega. Like, why are we not allowed to obsess over the double omega?
Oh no, please obsess over the double omega. I'm just not sure. I'm not sure where the exit to that interstate is. So just floor it and let's see where you go.
You are like all the people in my TV channel Discords or Reddits, and I'd have some crazy theory on where the show was going to go. And they
calm down.
Hey man, why don't we just watch the episode and find out?
No, I want to see where you go with that.
Where I go is fan fiction, but to me, like you have said, like many have said, when we're faced with things that don't make sense, you know, some of us veer into the fan fiction world to just make sense of it all. And I think, but I also think there are levels or layers or versions of that. And at least the way I look at it is I'll come up with the theory that makes sense with why it should have been the grassy knoll instead of the 6th floor on the book depository. But I won't like dictate my life off that. So to make it in a microcosm with the Forrest Fenn chase, like I'll get into the idea that Forrest Fenn was D.B. Cooper, but in 3 weeks, and I think you, or at least I hope you have experienced this with me. When we get into it on Reddit, like, even a year ago, for the last year, I might have been married to an idea 3 weeks prior, but then I'm all of a sudden in a different frame of mind. Like I'm willing to change. But I do want to question sometimes when everybody starts agreeing, right? Do I not?
Well, you want to beware of groupthink. So yes.
Groupthink, right? And sometimes I'll question groupthink when there's no right to. Like, no, the groupthink is right here. Like, there's a reason it's groupthink. But yeah, sometimes there's people on, like, for instance, the Reddit, and I think that's a lot of the people on YouTube and Thor, the K-Pro, Candy, even Greg and all them, good Greg, bad Greg, all of them. I don't think they venture into the Reddit world. I think we are kind of enclosed and quarantined in that Reddit world. You and I hop out of it. And I know a couple of the guys in there pay attention to all this stuff, but I don't really see them kind of venturing off. Not that that's its own topic. I just find it interesting. There are segments of this chase that are still kind of doing their own thing and still into it.
Yeah, and each of the communities kind of had their own flavor of, the format and what that sort of conversation that attracted, and how, authoritarian whoever was running the platforms were. A lot of those have shut down now, but they each created their own little flavor a little bit. And the Reddit side of things is a good format, but it's also susceptible to the groupthink thing in terms of people just upvoting and downvoting material.
Right.
Somebody doesn't like your ideas. If a lot of people don't like your ideas, to the bottom it goes.
Sometimes you're almost proud of, like, I just posted this and I'm at -12. I'm not that much of an asshole. I must be doing something right.
Well, some people have karma to burn.
Well, my karma count's, I think, very good. I think I'm in like 9 or 10,000 or something like that. And I say some shit on there. So I've been shown something here, not to interrupt, but I've been shown something here by both a couple of different people. What am I looking at? Is this important to me?
It is a conversation between someone and Jack.
It's a conversation between someone and Jack. I'm gonna read the question. I'm not gonna say who or where it's from. It has been said that you found the chest nearly buried with only the top visible and covered with forest debris. After removing the chest from the nook, did you in any way try to disguise the location? Also, the picture of the open chest with the now famous stick on top, was that the picture you emailed Forrest after you found it, or was it taken when you went back to retrieve it? Thanks. Jack says, yes, I published that debris. Sorry. Yes, I pushed that debris into the nook when I left, but that's it. I felt satisfied that I left no trace. There's a lot to unpack there. The photo with the twig was taken before removal and emailed to Forrest. I'll say that again. The photo with the twig was taken before removal and emailed to Forrest. So that's the photo Jack chose to send to the man who created the treasure hunt. So we're all on record. I did not take any photos specifically to the release. I specifically to release to the public until I met with Forrest in New Mexico. I did not take any photos specifically to release to the public until I met with Forrest in New Mexico. All right, so I don't know what I'm supposed to understand from this. Rudy, jump in anytime you want. I guess what we're thinking here is, A, Jack pushed debris into the nook, and he's referring to the nook. This is in December of 2020, by the way. This isn't now. This is way in the beginning.
There's a couple interesting things with how he phrased the photos themselves, which is, it doesn't sound like at least his initial intention was to release any photos of the chest at the location. You know, because he's saying that those photos weren't taken for that. They were taken to do the purpose that he stated, which was to email them to Forrest. You know, whoever took the ones in the lawyer's office, that may have been a side thing of, you know, these are ones that we're going to actually potentially use if we, you know, get to that step. So in between there, you know, if we're just going to speculate, maybe Forrest was trying to convince him to show photos of it in the location. I don't know. It's certainly, you know, if the first photos, imagine if the first photos that had been released was Forrest and the chest in a lawyer's office. That kind of would have been a little disorienting, because we would have gone, wait a second, like where was it found? You know? So I wonder if they kind of switched plans when, you know, the photos were actually published on Dale's blog.
Ask if we can share the picture the way it is currently. No, what are you doing?
That's her.
You don't scream it out loud. Just ask if we can share the picture. You know who to ask. Rookie over here.
If I had something to throw at you, I would. I was looking over here. I don't want to hurt you, but
don't throw anything at me. I'm just making jokes. Cobra Kai, strike first, strike hard. Rudy, are you a fan of Cobra Kai? How about that?
I don't even know what that is. Clue me in.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. Hold on. Well, Ashley gets permission here.
Yes, you have permission.
Okay, we have permission. Okay. Cobra Kai. Have you seen The Karate Kid?
Yes.
Okay. Not a fan.
I had to think about it for a second, so that should tell you something.
It's one of those 80s movies. It's one of those, like, have I seen that? Yeah, no, I saw that. Of course, it's a classic. Did I?
I watched it in college, like pirated off the internet, probably downloaded, you know, on a T1 line. I'm not sure.
Well, you even still, you may be able to appreciate this. So the movie was obviously, you know, Daniel-san versus, you know, the main bad guy, Blonde Surfer, you know, the whole thing. If you can remember, with Mr. Miyagi. They have that whole movie trilogy. They created a show all these years later where the main bad guy, Johnny Lawrence, is now your main character. So this show takes place in like 2019, all those years after the events of Karate Kid. And you have all the main actors. It's everybody back, you know, aside from the people who have passed. And so you have, you know, the main Johnny bad guy, and then you have Daniel. Like, you have all the main people back. And so they take a different approach where the bad guy in the movie is now the good guy in the show. And the good guy in the show is now the bad guy, or the good guy in the movie is now the bad guy in the show.
I see.
And it's a very clever little twist where even if you didn't like Karate Kid that much, this show is worth watching. And the reason I'm bringing it up is obviously I'm wearing the Cobra Kai t-shirt.
Oh, okay. I just wasn't sure if it was like your favorite show.
It's not my favorite. It's just one of those great ones. You know, sidebar, anybody wants a good TV show to watch who's watching, put on Cobra Kai on Netflix. They bought it off YouTube. It's very good. Anyway, focusing back here, let me share the screen.
Okay, so Candy is saying the important thing here is that this was found, the picture was taken, what does he say exactly? Before removal.
That's part of the phrase.
Covered up the nook, right? But he has also told you that he moved the chest away from the nook so as to not give away the location.
Okay, let's get back to his wording. Okay, I pushed that debris into the nook. So what is that debris?
That's the pine needles and forest cover that was, you know, had fallen on top of the chest over the previous 10 years.
Right, but also the person who actually asked this question did encapsulate the question a little bit. That you found the chest nearly buried with only the top visible and covered with the forest debris. after removing the chest. So after removing the chest from the Nook, did you in any way try to disguise the location? I pushed that debris into the Nook when I left. There is no reason for him to say that debris.
He's just talking about the debris that was on top of it.
I get it.
No, tell me your theory. I
don't
want to
know.
hear your theory. I don't know where you're going with this.
There's a guy. This is a guy who got an English degree from Georgetown.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a writer for pretty much his whole life until he decided to go to med school. And when he says, I pushed that debris into the Nook when I left, but that's it. And he throws a comma after, but that's it. So that implies that that's it is sufficient enough to create its own sentence for him to put the comma before but, which means that debris doesn't need an antecedent, which means that debris he's being specific about. He is using the word that on purpose. And if he's using the word that on purpose, I'm wondering if he's telling us that debris is the debris that we saw in the photo. So he's even hinting to us that the debris found in the found photo where the chest is open is the same type of debris that he put over the Nook. This isn't groundbreaking, but I'm wondering if he's trying to even hint that much, that even the shit I put the chest next to, feet away, and took that photo, even that stuff, that's the stuff you're going to find over the direct Nook and the spot where the chest once was. That's all I'm getting at. Nothing more, nothing less. I don't think it's groundbreaking, but I do think it's deliberate.
Maybe. I mean, in the photos that we see of the chest, though, there's not that much debris visible other than the dead log, I think, and, you know, the stick that's in the chest itself. The ground looks pretty barren compared to, like, when I was searching in the Gallatin National Forest, you'd be under trees there where there'd be like feet sometimes of just piled up pine needles and stuff that had built up. And in the photo, you don't really see that same sort of thing.
It looks dry. And I almost wonder how the chest would sink that much in such what seems like arid conditions. If it's June, we're coming off of a winter here. If we're coming off of a winter, this soil should be somewhat wet, at least on the first inch or two, even if it's just the topsoil. It should look a little less barren. I will say that, but I think maybe Jack is pointing to that. Look at what I had to use to actually fill in the hole with. Dry, dead pine needle and dirt, because there are pine needles around. There's pine cone, isn't there?
Yeah, there's little cones in there.
Do you think that this contradicts the email that he sent you about moving the chest so as not to give the location away? And do you have that email where he said he moved
I'd like to see that one too.
Give the location away. I'm curious if there's any contradiction. Jack's so funny with his wording that I just from memory, I don't think there's a contradiction because I think they could both be. Please stop sneezing.
I can't help myself.
I thought they both could be true. I only allow Ben
to
sneeze twice.
What do I have to type in? She does only allow me to sneeze twice. If I sneeze thrice,
yeah, that's it. You're done. Dunesies.
What do I have to type into this search box?
It's here. The food's here. Okay, I'll go get it.
Food's here.
His email about moving the chest. Remember, he said
moving
I moved
the
it.
chest. So let me see if that brings. Oh, we have a hit. Hold on.
Okay, I'm gonna get the food. Hold on.
Oh, that's that's just moving funds. We were talking crypto. Nope. I get it. Yeah, it won't be this though.
That was one of the problems I ran into on the boots on the ground a week or so ago, whenever that was I was kind of trying to find, as part of the ground strategy, I don't know if there's a blaze that can be found of going, where is there a spot that the chest could be that it would be covered up by debris in 10 years? Because without that, what else are you going to look for? And that was one of the, I don't want to say it's an error in the search, but it was like a minor flaw in that territory because there wasn't much that could cover stuff up easily. I don't know if you experienced the same thing on the pullout that you went to. If you went on the north side of the road and walked on the hill there was that deep debris that would build up.
Yes.
But not in the area
the north side of the road would have been super easy. Yeah. Yes, agreed. when we went to the south side, the first couple of feet where I like in my video, I kind of sit on a log. It's marsh. You know what I mean?
So you either
It's
have
just
this little like
marsh.
lush or, you know, a little bit dry,
or just dead. Right. Totally.
but not a whole lot of debris, or not stuff that I would describe as debris. And when you go and look in
And
Dan's
that's
book,
what intrigues me.
yeah, he specifically mentions like pine needles as being part of that. So that is
That's
spelled
the
out
only
in
thing I
another
saw.
source.
All I
But
saw
not-
was pine needle and log. That's all I could see, and dirt. That's all I could see, unless I was in that marsh area, and then it was just grass. But
Yeah.
so I haven't found exactly what we're looking for, but I saw this and I just wanted to share it. It's not news or anything like that, but it's just another Jack email, and so why the heck not?
As I understand it, Ben, you have the largest private collection of Jack emails. Is that accurate?
It's been touted as such, but I actually invite someone to tell me they have more, because I will give them the entire show and mute myself and let them talk about all their emails, because that would be delightful. I think the more
I have
emails, the
3
better.
or 4. Does that beat your count?
3 or 4 beats me on probably December 11th, 2020 at about 7:50 at night.
That's what I thought.
All right, let me see if I can. All right, I'm going to share this. I always say, let me see if I can. I feel like that's like my Howard Stern voice talking. Let me see. All right,
I still
here we
don't know
go.
what the topic of your show is.
The topic of the show, and by the way, for the first hour or so we were doing it, it was trying to solve the poem with just the poem. We weren't allowed to go to outside quotes. The only outside quotes we were allowed to go to was just Fenn quotes. No book, no Jack, nothing, and just see if we could look at another way of going. Indy brought up the most fun idea was just, hey, let's try to do a simple thing like reading from the bottom to the top, even though that might be something we've all done before. We kind of dove into that. So I would suggest people go back and rewatch that part. That was a very interesting way to look at the poem. Anyway, hey man, thanks for writing me back a couple times. This was December 14th, 2020. I still have an email into you with further questions, but if you don't have time for that, I totally get it. This is where we started to get into how I would write a couple emails at the same time. But these blogs are outing the crazy 7%. And frankly, I think there's 1 or 2 things you could do to negate this BS. You have no reason to do so, but you never know. Maybe a conclusive end to the chase will end up raising the value of it. But we have allegations of Photoshop, and that you're a stand-in fake finder hired by Fenn, parentheses, LOL. You said you only had a couple of images of the chest at the Nook. Do you have anything selfie-like? Something aside from the picture of you, Fenn, and the chest. You don't need cheerleaders for you. You got the chest. But I'm a man of balance and justice. I'd like to put these naysayers to bed somehow. I need your help for that, though. He goes, thanks, Ben. No, those people don't seem to email me, so I'm happily oblivious. I highly doubt those people don't email Jack Stu. I highly doubt it. I've highly doubted it from December 14th, and I highly doubt it now, July 17th, 2021. But no, those people don't seem to email me, so I'm happily oblivious. I didn't take a selfie with the chest, but if I had, they would say it was photoshopped too, right? If they bother you, just don't read that stuff. No period at the end. Anyway, I just thought it was a fun little email to share.
Cool.
So no selfie with the chest. That didn't happen, according to Jack. I threw in, some of these allegations about Photoshop, that he's a fake finder for Forrest Fenn to have end this chase. He emailed me. This is 3 days in. I haven't developed rapport with him. I gave him an outlandish theory like that he's a fake finder, and he still emailed me back. And he continued to email me back day after day, week after week. So, those of us in the chase who have said, well, I emailed him something controversial, and obviously he didn't want to respond to it, therefore he is guilty of such. we should, we should all take a minute here. He is willing to entertain crazy thoughts. I wrote it in that email. He still wrote me back. So, maybe that's the time for us all to go, maybe he's telling the truth. I don't know. I'm gonna have a slice of pepperoni CPK pizza.
Is this the one with the cauliflower crust and stuffed cauliflower?
If it has cauliflower crust, I will riot.
Tell me how you feel about the cauliflower crust.
I'll know if it's cauliflower crust.
3.
Mm.
You can't even tell the difference.
I'm not falling for that.
You can't even tell the difference.
I'm not falling for it.
You can't even tell the difference.
I'm not
New
willing to make
show
a judgment.
topic is Ben's pizza reviews.
Hold on.
You guys don't even know how Ben tries to avoid eating vegetables. He is worse than my
She's
toddler.
bluffing. I give this an 8.5. Real
He likes
crust.
the cauliflower crust.
Real crust. Not cauliflower, real crust. You see this burn mark? You can't get that from cauliflower. No, that's real. We're good. Thank you, babe. Love you. I'm not falling for that shit. Anyway, back to the pump. Rudy, where were we? What else was I trying to look up? Let's go to the chat.
First clue, I guess. Has
So,
anybody made it
Chrissy
past the first clue?
Christy, Ben hasn't received an email in the last few days.
Right. Oh, yeah. No, I have not gotten an email. Let me check again. We're not screen sharing, right? Let me check here.
Candy, I think your pizza you order without cheese on a pizza is probably worse than a cauliflower crust, if I'm being honest.
Nothing from Jack. He is, I think he's mad at me.
You probably got your
honestly,
allotment of questions answered.
I got my allotment. I should have had my allotment, 6 months ago then.
Yeah, I mean, they can't pay him to answer all of the questions, so. I know how you people think.
It's true though. Wait. K-Pro's cutting me off. What did I do? I didn't. Ooh, hold on. Who's winning that? I did nothing, K-Pro. I'm fine. Okay, what's everyone's favorite TV show right now? Let's go. Everyone's favorite TV show. Rudy first.
America's Got Talent.
I'm not even high.
Wow.
That shit is funny, Rudy.
It is funny. You should watch the
Wow.
show. It's great. People can do some crazy stuff. And if you're
Okay, I
high, it's
see what
even
K-Pro
better.
was saying.
So, oh, Jack cut you off. You needed to start watching the chat. Do you realize how much useful contributions have just gone past?
Okay, I literally told Jack to fuck off on Thor, and I got banned for that. And he still kept emailing me, but not right when we went on YouTube, because he kept emailing me a couple times. It's only been the last, 4 days?
Okay, but is that not typical?
Can we dissect it?
Can we?
He's gone this long. I think we're at the precipice of this. I think we're at the nitty gritty end of where he's ignored me. If we go into Monday and I haven't had an email back, I am officially cut off by Jack.
And then what will you do? Will you try to send him a nude or something?
Why do I hear you here? No, I'm going to mute my shit, babe. You don't mute your shit. What will I do?
Yeah.
Nothing different. If that's the end of it, that's the end of it with him. Life goes on.
So Ben, what game are you playing right now?
Ooh, interesting question.
What game am I playing?
Yeah. Like what's the end goal? What are we working towards? What are you working
What I've been
towards?
trying to figure out is second place.
Hmm.
I've been trying to tell everybody that a second place exists. That's been my end game.
Oh, for sure. But like how would we know that we had reached second place? Like how would we define that? Or is it just something that you'd know when you see it? Like, do you think that you're going to read a solve or see somebody's solution, or photos of the Nook or something like that and go, okay, that's it. It's gonna all come together? Like what would be the pieces that would have to line up to call second place?
I think you would have to go through the same cathartic experience that Jack went through, or whoever Jack went through, and you solve the poem. Maybe you don't describe the ending like the way you would. Maybe you don't go in a football grid area, but whatever. I do think there's discrepancy there, but I think what you need to do is solve the fucking poem from home, go to your spot, find the spot. You'll find the emerald ring, in my opinion, because both Fenn and Jack made a big deal of what wasn't in the chest, and it was the frog and it was the emerald ring. And I think the emerald ring is lying there to confirm second place.
It is lying. It's lying. It's being.
So if you don't have the emerald ring, let's say 14 and a half months from now, then are you still looking for an emerald ring, or are you looking for something else because at a certain point the referee has to call the runner-ups, right? Or are we going to be doing this 10 years from now, 20 years from now?
I think I'm waiting for one of two conclusions. Either I get second place or someone else does. So I think I'll be in this until I hear from either an official source or someone with so much photographic proof that we all just go, okay, great, fuck, we missed it. There was a second place. Silly us.
Yeah.
But I think there'll be one or two moments, something like that. But that's the only, if nothing happens, if we stay status quo, then in my opinion, second place is still out there.
I agree. But this is something I've been thinking about more lately, strictly because I went boots on the ground this year, not to look for a chest, but to look for where the chest was, which is a much more complicated problem because, how would you know? And so now I've spent more time thinking about, let's say I had gone boots on the ground, and let me be clear, I didn't. But let's say I had found a depression in the earth with, soil that maybe had been disturbed within the last year, and something that seemed like a Fenn-like blaze. That by itself doesn't, how do we get there? Because I could go, I could accept a solve on the Madison River in general, but I don't know what the next step is now. Because I'm just not certain of what could be found. And if somebody goes and searches and finds, something real simple, let's say an F in the tree, that doesn't prove the location still. Isn't that a problem that we're stuck with?
Agreed. I think the only reason to have a second place is because if we go back to Indiana Jones 3, there is no silver medal. I won't even get into the impression, but there is no silver medal. The point is, usually in a treasure hunt, second place is frowned upon. I think in something like this, the only reason second place would be validated and something glorious to do and fulfill would be if it's a second place where it's kind of designed to almost make you, and I really hesitate doing this, Rudy, because you know how much I jump on people when they say there's a second chest there, or there's still some. No, I've jumped on people. But I think the only reason to validate a second place is to do so when it makes it look like everybody would just jump on your ass. Where second place seems ridiculous. You have to be a lunatic to still believe in second place, to still believe in this treasure hunt so deeply that you would continue to search for a second place, even if you're telling yourself all you're searching for is the location of where the chest once was, because you believe so hard and so deeply and so purely that at that location it was either glorious with a waterfall and a sunset or whatever, or there's artifacts at your feet all any direction you look, and it looks just untouched by man for hundreds of years. Even if it doesn't matter. I think the only way you can even validate a location like that is with the second place. I think Forrest is always planned for someone here's why I believe Jack said something that I tried to email him about and he dodged it. And it was this. Jack, you made it very apparent that you really truly believed in Forrest's ambivalence over when the chest would be found. And you made it a point to really drive that home. Forrest didn't care when this was going to get found. And that's important. That's something Jack has done with us. Almost to the point where it was moving to Jack. And I think I've understood why it was so moving to Jack, to why Jack had a limited time to speak to us in these Medium articles, and he chose to say this. And I think Forrest didn't care because he had a part 2. So even if this was found in a year by some genius, it couldn't be found twice. But if it was, he had a failsafe for it. But the whole point is he had a second part planned. And it involved whoever found the chest. And this would only be done if Forrest was alive. If Forrest was dead, then maybe this whole thing would be different. But if Forrest is alive and it was found, I think there was a plan to either pay it forward, so to speak, to leave something behind, or for either in exchange for cash or whatever. But I truly believe, and throughout all that, whoever does find it leaves something behind. They can't say so. They surely cannot say, hey, by the way, I did find it and I left something behind so that you know for sure you got to that spot that I broke the law at. He's not going to say that. Plausible deniability. Guys, there's nothing there. The treasure hunt is done. Oh, hey, by the way, email me. You know, this is where I start to connect dots. Or maybe I'm crazy. I don't know.
Well, I mean, we all are a little bit. Have to be. So I'll tell you a funny anecdote. While I was out searching last week, walked by somebody who was fishing on the Madison, and it's one of the, you know, kind of older, probably a local type guys just out there fly fishing. He goes, "You looking for that treasure?" And I said, he volunteered it too, like, and I said, well, you know, something like that. He goes, you know, that's been found, right? I said, yeah. I said, I know. And then I just realized like how this has to look to other people. It's like they've been putting up with treasure hunters in West for years, and they're like, people are still coming out here. Like, what is going on? This is nuts.
I think this is why Ashley and I didn't really want to necessarily share what happened with us and the owners of that bar. We're not trying to out them or say something that, or say that they gave us some inside knowledge or breaking news. They didn't.
Right.
Honestly, the demeanor that they had was very casual. Like if any of you guys were sitting in the chairs that me and Ashley were sitting in, you would have gotten the same information. We didn't do anything stealth spy shit. Like, but I will say it's interesting that these people are just like, I just don't buy it. I just don't buy it. You know, these are rational people, thinking people who have been involved in this thing for a very long time. And they're all going, nope, something else is going on. We don't know what it is. We won't even presume to know what it is, but we know this ain't it. And then, you know, there's been a couple of comments where they go, you know, don't tell anybody this, but, and that's where I won't say that that happened or didn't happen. I'm just saying that can happen in a conversation and you don't repeat it. My point is, if these people so close to Fenn are saying, nope, we don't fucking believe this shit, here's why we don't believe it. You can either take us for our word or not. And I go, well, they own this bar. Seems like they've been around this thing for quite a while and they don't put up with riffraff. I'll listen to what they have to say. You know, that's kind of how I ascertain that whole situation. Either way, we're left with a situation where maybe there's something else going on and we just can't figure out quite what it is. But anybody still involved gets to be part of that game, whatever that game is.
Yeah, I'm kind of fascinated by the different games people are playing, because I've talked to other searchers who are searching for the chest in other locations, like looking for a second chest. There's a few of them on Reddit. And I think it's cool, anybody who's going out boots on the ground. if you're having fun and you're going out and, enjoying the Rocky Mountains, all that stuff, then you're still getting something out of it.
100%.
If you get cooped up too long and you're just on Facebook and, telling everybody your opinion, I do that too, but that's not as much fun as going out in the forest.
Agreed.
But I always ask people what game they're playing because I'm curious where they're going with it. I'm somewhat with you though. I'm trying to think of what would be a conclusion for me. Like, what would that look like? Because I don't know if I could define that right now, other than just going, I sort of feel like this is the right deal.
I agree. I mean, shit, I even asked myself, nice, my dude won. I even asked myself, what is my angle? What am I trying to get out of this? What's going to justify the time that I'm about to spend on this?
Yeah, we're not. If anything, the people searching for the second chest, they have a motivation to do so because there's still that like lure of the reward. There's that lure of the find. If you're out looking for a damaged blaze with no chest below it, that's a hard game. It's a really hard game.
It's a much harder sell, that's for sure. But I think anybody looking for a damaged blaze still thinks there's something there. I think whether people want to admit it or not, maybe they're just feeling like they're going to be called crazy or loco, whatever. But I think anybody looking for a damaged blaze in their heart of hearts, that means you, Rudy, and that means me, Ben.
Nope.
In their heart of hearts somewhere, not a treasure, but just something. Even if it's justifiable proof of a solve. Uh-oh, is something wrong? All I'm saying is, even if you get justifiable proof of a solve. We'll wait and see if Rudy can get back. Garlic and mushrooms by Indy and not touching the crust. How do you not touch the crust, even if you're sick? That's crazy. Rudy, no worries. Take your time, breathe. All right. Anywho, had to deal with some family stuff, guys. Rudy's having technical difficulties. That's okay. Here's why that's okay. It's 7:30. We can shift topics a little, and then Rudy can come back and talk about that. Hey, what's up, babe?
Why isn't anyone from Discord in here? It's making me feel very unloved.
They probably are. Anyway, I need a different way.
You want anything else? Do you need drinks or are you good?
Coca-Cola.
Like a fountain one?
Yeah. What I need to know is a different way to look at this poem, guys. We've done bottom to the top. Give me another way to look at this poem. Why does hear me all and listen good act as directions that I seem half of us are just fucking skipping? Hear me all and listen good, how? Oh, we think Amphitheater Canyon is the solve to something where he repeats himself? I don't know, maybe it is. I'm wondering if we're missing something. Hear me all and listen good. Like, what the fuck? What are we not hearing? What are we missing? Forrest told us to look up nouns, right? Have you all looked up every single noun in the poem? Every single one. Truly, really, truly, every single one. have you looked up the definition of it? Even if you knew it was a key word, did you actually look up the definition of it? I don't know. You know what? Let's look up the definition of it. I'm seeing a lot of yeps, and I love it. That makes me feel so good that you guys actually have looked it up. Who gave them to me? Okay, Larry. Who gave them to me? Fenn gave me these definitions. He told me 15% of what he says is bullshit. So that means 15% of what I've been given is bullshit, right? It used to refer to a thing previously mentioned or easily identified. Used to identify a person. Used to identify a person. I bet you, some of you maybe have not thought about it that way. I know it's only in the possessive sense where there's an apostrophe, but Forrest loved to just fuck with shit, right? We're sharing the screen. It used to identify a person. It's me. It is me. Got it. Fine. But Forrest loved to fuck with shit. I just wonder. It is the quest for the journey. I agree, but doesn't that seem not just simple, but just like it seems like the picnic solve, right? Like the solve you'd get on a Sunday afternoon. And maybe that part of the poem is something that you can just get on a Sunday afternoon, but like his hammering in, you're not going to just solve this thing on a picnic, Sunday afternoon, weekend, spring break, blah, blah, blah. I just wonder if it's deeper than just it is the journey or the quest. I don't know. I agree with keep it simple, but listen, there were too many people in this chase. If you're telling me only Jack Stoof kept it simple, I call bullshit. I think we're missing something, or other people saw this. Something's going on. Even as simple as the answer. There are plenty of us out there who can take it into a simple realm. And we have, and we still have not come out the other side. So I just don't buy it this simple. Sure, trusted. You learn the concept at War One Water's Halt, or WWWH. If you don't have WWWH nailed, you don't have nothing in your quote. Here's my question. What is the difference between WWWH and Where One Water's Halt? And let me finally just share with you all what I'm trying to say about that. Here we go. Share. Let's get to the poem. Okay. Hold on. How do we make this bigger? Oh, son of a bitch. Oh. All right, fine. Do it like this. Wait, fuck. What was the point of this? God dang it. All right, quickly. Someone type to me. What was the point of this? I hate my brain. 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 Now I gotta wait like 15 seconds for somebody to type into the thing to tell me what the heck I was trying to say. Son of a bitch. What was the point of me bringing this friggin' poem up, people? Someone tell me. Keeping it simple. I get that. Keeping it simple. Oh, son of a bitch. Well, now I gotta like. You know what? Let me. What? What if I just read the poem and try to figure out what it is I was trying to say? Oh, Thank you, Gallatin. Oh. Thank you, Gallatin. Okay, so y'all see my mouse here. W. H. Got it. Begin it. WWWH, right? And a lot of people have asked Fenn WWWH. Well, if we just only had the poem, where else could we begin at WWWH? If this is all we have. We have an answer. See the mouse? W. A W. H. Is that another way to look at the poem? Or is that bullshit? I don't know. I find it very interesting. WWWH. While you're on screen share, let me show you how much it stands out. If I just do a screen snip, watch this. Boom, boom, blah, blah, blah. Well, let's just pretend I highlight it. W, W, and then H. Like, we can see the WWH, but, you know, okay, that's too much highlighting, right? So let's just underline. How's this look? W. Oh, and go back a little bit. H. It's interesting. That's all. Oh, that's all. That's all. I don't know where my shit is. Have you got, okay, you know what I want to do at this point? Like, honestly, like, we're not going to solve this shit. Let's talk about good movies. What's a good movie y'all have seen recently? What's the best movie you've seen that, like,
it's definitely not Tomorrow War. Definitely not.
Tomorrow War. Fuck the Tomorrow War. Great
Too
for
long.
about 67% of the movie. Right?
It was good for 67%?
67%. That's it.
Yes. The part where Chris Pratt took his shirt off was excellent. But other than that, I did not find it interesting.
I'm talking like good movies at this point. Casino. City Slickers. Indiana Jones Part 3.
How are you gonna say City Slickers is your second movie you mentioned, man?
I did that just to fuck with you.
You just did it to annoy me. Let's see if I get carded.
Carded at the store? We'll see if she gets carded at the store. Let's go to chat here. I have watch Heat. Heat, so good. Guys, watch the game. Watch the game again. I have been deliberating whether to release The Home of Brown. Does it give away too much? It doesn't really. It will give a very general area to search, but doesn't seem to give the final location. Well, Zozo, I would suggest you put it all out on a big, nice little fucking post. Put it on Thor and let us all see it. I think that's the best way to go about shit like that. X marks the spot. Ben, if you use the poem, the RRDE of the last ride of Paul Revere. Listen, my children, and you shall hear. This tells me how to rearrange the eyes. Why is it that I must go remove eyes? Oh, why is it that I must go? As in, it's not a question of why is it that he must go. It's just, why is it that the letter I must go from the poem? That's an interesting way. That's a new way to look at it. I like that, Ashley. I know you've been trying to butt in, and that's fine. We'll let that happen.
I'm just trying to tell you that she carded me. She freaking hates me, man.
Did she card you? Fucking
She's
fine.
like, can I see your
Unbelievable.
ID?
All right, let me
Every
look at the Fenn
time.
poem real quick. Let me look at the Fenn poem real quick. And if we remove the eyes, what do we have? What do we have? All right, let me see here. Let me see here. Let me see here. Screen share. A bada bing, a bada boom. As have gone alone and there, and my treasures bold, can keep my secret where, and of new and old, where warm waters halt and take in the canyon down. Not far, but too far to walk, put below the home of Brown. From there, no place for the meek, the end never drawing. There'll be no paddle up your creek, just heavy loads and water. If you've been and found the blaze, look quickly down your quest to cease. But Terry scant with marvel gaze, just take the chest and go peace. So why that must go and leave my trove for all to seek? The answer already know. The done now weak. So hear me all and sing good. Your effort will be worth the cold. You are brave in the wood. Give you to the gold. I don't think taking the eye out works. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. What's going on in chat? How many people left the chat after that? Let's see. What else? Groundhog Day, second favorite. Hey, Groundhog Day, fantastic movie. Bill Murray is amazing. Is it too late for flapjacks? Fantastic. Fantastic. Love Groundhog Day. Miracle has just occurred. DJ, Candy asked DJ to let her have a slice of pizza, extremely spicy pizza, and after she ate it, she could breathe a lot better, and she can't taste. So, you know, yay, spicy food. I've been saying it for years. No one listens to me. Spicy foods, weed, and cigarettes. That's how you fight coronavirus. Not approved by the FDA or anybody in charge who knows what the fuck they're talking about.
My doctor's always said taking Pepsid AC and Zyrtec while you had COVID was helpful. I don't know why, but Candy taking Pepsid apparently helps.
Sure, for a minute. I'm glad that spicy food killed her nasal issues. Babe, I suggest you have spicy food much more often. That's all I'm saying.
Babe, I have polyps, and that is something different. But my dad swears by cayenne. Whenever he was sick, he'd just eat a bunch of cayenne pepper and said that really helped.
So what's everybody's favorite TV show? How about that? Let's do that. What's everybody's favorite TV show? Because there's only a few correct answers. So I just want to see who knows what they're talking about and who doesn't. That's my question. Hey, babe, did you go and do the thing?
Did I do what thing?
You go to the store?
Yeah, I'm on my way home.
You're driving. That's what I wanted to get at. You're so sexy. I hope you're not driving and streaming. I hope you're just at a red light, right?
I'm always at a red light. because Discord is watching me.
Isn't that life? Isn't that life? You're always just at a red light.
That's a Johnny
let's see
Lang
what's going
song.
on.
I think there's a Johnny Lang song called Red Light. Da 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 red light. Something about
Okay, hold
everything
on, hold on.
light. Go ahead, shut me up again.
No,
Go
it's
ahead.
great that you did that song. No, that song. Gallatin Ghost said, Golden Girls, thank you for being a friend. Like, it was just like what you were singing, babe. I just thought that was apropos.
I can't wait for you to sing me to sleep tonight with that beautiful voice of yours.
Anywho, Gallatin Ghost, Ashley, I love you. Gallatin Ghost, Golden Girls, amazing. Amazing show. Anybody who tells you Golden Girls is not a good show doesn't know what they're talking about. Rudy, Breaking Bad, for sure. Although I will say the first season of Breaking Bad is highly overrated. It is not good. It is not. I would not put the first season of Breaking Bad anywhere near the peak of that show. Season 1 of Breaking Bad was just like a lot of shows.
Agreed.
You agree?
Agreed, because you know why? And we didn't even talk during this time. I started watching Breaking Bad. I quit because I couldn't get through the first season. It wasn't until I was then forced by all my friends being like, no, keep watching, that I actually went back and then watched it. And then I loved it once I got past the first season. But no, first season, I'm with you. And I'm glad that you said that, because that's a really popular show and everybody just raves about it. And I couldn't get into the first season.
I don't want to call myself a maverick or anything, but I do believe that it is the popular opinion to say just Breaking Bad is just fucking perfect. And every time you hear, just like you said, but I will say it is because of that spirit that it gets someone like you to keep watching. But I will say, yeah, that first season is it's good. It's fine. The pilot is great. I love the pilot. I would only dream to write a pilot like Vince Gilligan wrote. But I will say, I quit in the first season. I'll admit it. The first time I watched it, I quit. I gave it a year. Then I went back to it. I was like sick one day, and then I went back to it, and
my favorite show that I watched without you, that I've now watched with you, is probably Yellowstone. But
yes, that's a good one.
My favorite show is you know what? I gotta say, I think Leftovers is probably like in my top.
Listen, can we do a poll? I'm gonna do a poll. I'm gonna create a poll. Who here? Well, hold on, that's not a good poll. Have you seen The Leftovers on HBO? Let me type that properly. There we go. All right. I'm curious who has seen The Leftovers, because I think that is still a very, very underrated show. I'd love to see any kind of percentages on that, because I think The Leftovers is one of the best shows of all time. And I brought it to your attention for that very reason. But I'm not sure if others feel that way, or if they've even seen the show, let alone,
I'd never heard of The Leftovers. Now, granted, I was, in a situation that I held captive and living under a rock. So me not knowing about the show doesn't say a lot, but it's pretty fantastic. And I was super excited. I got to say, I was really excited to watch that show.
I'm going to share with everybody the link to the Leftovers season 1 trailer. I think you all should take a look at it. My opinion, the greatest show on television available to us. Take that for what it's worth. Written by Damon Lindelof, same guy who brought you Lost, in which, yes, he did answer all the questions, or at least 98% of them. But whatever. I still haven't seen many other. Walking Dead. The Walking Dead's fine. I quit when Rick left. Whether he was fired, whether he quit, whether they were just planning to do the movie, I don't give a shit. Once he was done, I was done. And frankly, I was done with that show probably a year before he left anyways. So I appreciated that he left, because I was fucking done with that show. It's gone on for too long. I get it. It's based on the comic. It's supposed to go on for a long time. I'm just not that into it.
I told the kids like it's an ices, and then I forgot. So I'm
Oh,
going back with them.
ices.
I'm
You're going back
literally
with them? Oh
because
my
I
God.
completely forgot.
Well, you're a good
I
mom.
was so worried about the freaking chicken carding me.
You're a good mom.
I'll be right back.
All right, babe. Anywho, Walking Dead, cool. Bleh. Have you guys seen Startup? Startup's a great show. Startup is a great show. What else we got here? Deadwood. Deadwood's fantastic. I will say Deadwood's very good. Mandalorian. I try. I'm a big Star Wars buff, and I'm not that into the Mandalorian. I almost feel like it's an obligation, like you're supposed to be into the Mandalorian, and I'm just not. The Outer Banks. I assume I know what that show is, but I really don't know what that show is. I've never even fucking seen it. I mean, God, I used to have seen every show on television, and now we're getting into shit I've never even seen. X-Files and Quantum Leap. Are you kidding me, Gallatin? I have a couple of as a writer, you can do pilots or movies. Or specs. Specs are kind of like you write a script on a show that already exists. You're not a writer on the show. You're just taking the show into a direction, the way you see it for an episode. And so I wrote a spec on the X-Files, and what I did was I intertwined the universes of the X-Files and the Twilight Zone into the same thing. And I made the entire show of the X-Files turn into an episode of the Twilight Zone through the usage of VR. And I do it with the proper series finale for the X-Files, which is Fox. I call it Dreamland Part 3. If any X-Files fans are here, they know Dreamland Part 1 and 2 are a couple of episodes where Fox Mulder gets near Area 51 and he transpositions. He jumps into the body of this Area 51 employee, and that person, Area 51 employee, jumps into Mulder's body, and that's Michael McKean. Come on, the dude, you know who he is, Michael McKean. He was in Better Call Saul. He's Saul's older brother, amongst other much more famous things. Anywho, he was in the first Dreamland Part 1 and 2. So I combine them, and I have Mulder do that same night over again, but he just gets held hostage and taken to Area 51. And he has to break out of Area 51 and find Scully and blah, blah, blah. By the end of this spec, he wakes up and he realizes he was just sitting in a VR. Like, imagine the Sharper Image, the store at the mall back in like the 90s or 2000s. And you'd go in there and you'd like try the massage chair, or you'd try the cool latest tech that they had or whatever. This would be that kind of thing. Like, he's just sitting in a chair at the Sharper Image wearing their latest VR thing. And he just experienced not only the episode that he was in, but the entire series of the X-Files in this one little VR stint. And it makes up for all of Chris Carter's failings. So yeah,
well, that's kind of dope.
My spec. Babe, have I had you read that?
You haven't. You haven't. I think you haven't told me about that one because I haven't watched all of X-Files yet. So I think you were like holding that one back.
I kept it away from you. It involves a storyline with his sister, and we can't even get there till season 7. So yeah, we should go back to X-Files episodes when we're like, I don't know what to watch. Let's just put on X-Files.
We need to, because you reference it in the pilot, and I obviously don't get it because I haven't seen X-Files, and I don't have to get everything. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, my pilot's a whole other ball of wax, but we don't.
Has anyone seen Barry? Because I love Barry.
Barry is
one of my other favorite shows.
I love Barry.
What does he say? Tell me when he says, when Barry says, Hank, do you think I'm a bad guy? It's my
No.
favorite.
Hey, Hank, have I not told you? You're like super bad guy. I can't believe I've never told you this.
You're like the worst.
You're like the
Super
worst
bad guy.
ever. I can't
Yeah.
believe I've never told you this.
Babe, I love that show. I can't wait for it to come back on.
Oh, Californication. That's a good show. That was a great show. I watched Californication simply because of David Duchovny. I made it through about 3 or 4 seasons. It kind of started to hit too close to home for me. So I was liking it, but then, she just got real. I never finished it. That's a show I want to finish. Oh, that's a burp. Chasing Indy is on season 3 of MacGyver. Whoa. Chasing Indy.
Holy
I have
time
told you
travel.
numerous times to watch Lost, and you're on season 3 of MacGyver. Why don't you put down the MacGyver and put on Hulu and put on Lost?
That'll really mess with your brain when you're sick with the whatever Delta, Indy.
I mean, honestly, if you're facing Delta and life sucks, you should just watch a show. Let your brain escape a little bit. Now, Back East says Dexter, Mr. Robot, and Billions. So I have 3 different responses here. Dexter, amazing until season 4. After the Trinity Killer, I'm done. Fuck anybody who says Dexter's good after that. And fuck the writers. And the writers themselves said fuck us as well, because they're giving us a new final season. They literally said, you know what, just ignore the final season that aired, 7 or 8 years ago. We're going to give you a new one. And that's what's happening. So I love it. But then the next one, Mr. Robot. Mr. Robot is a tour de force in terms of understanding the human condition. It's amazing. It's enthralling. The music keeps you in those moments where you're just like, maybe I should go to my phone. I won't. The music's telling me this is important, or it's sad, or whatever. And so Mr. Robot has a way of keeping you in right until the very end. You might not like the end, but it's delicious. I fucking love Mr. Robot. And if you're puzzle solvers, there are puzzles in Mr. Robot happening in the background of that show, meant to be solved. Good night, Jason.
I like the lighting.
I hope
I like the
it
lighting
on,
of
but
that show.
Indy stopped Mr. Robot by season 3, and then she said she can't stand Lost. Okay, I have 2 arguments to both. First of all, Indy, you should watch the 4th and final season of Mr. Robot. Why not? You've watched 3 seasons. Why don't you see what the whole thing was really about? Again, Lost and Mr. Robot are not your normal shows. Again, a lot of people, I'm seeing it. Lost, horrible ending. Lost, horrible ending. Lost, horrible ending. That's fine. We'll get into it. But I'm saying that it's the same thing that I see with Mr. Robot. Watch the final season of Mr. Robot. You'll see what the show is all about. Really soak in the final season of Lost. You'll actually see what the show is about. You might not have liked the direction. What?
Ben, you are like the shepherd of Lost. I really feel that people, like, maybe if I ever have a conversation with Lindelof, this is what I would say. I would say people don't understand the show. They don't understand the ending. They honestly, they need a you. They need Ben to walk them through and explain the ending and like point out the key points. I really think that you are a shepherd for Lost.
I honestly, I think, hold on, let me end this poll. I think I shouldn't have to explain it. So 88% out of 26 people have not seen The Leftovers. We need to even get.
I know, I saw that. We should do a watch party. You shouldn't have to explain the ending of Lost, but I shouldn't have
I don't need to. I'm not going to. What I'm going to say is.
I'm just saying I shouldn't have to tell an 11-year-old to brush their teeth, but I still have to. That's the way the world works.
I just don't understand, if you've read 300 pages of a 400-page book, why you would stop and not understand and let those last 100 pages explain the first 300. Why would you quit the Forrest Fenn puzzle until you've understood the end of the puzzle, right? So all of you, every single one of you, there is no excuse for saying, oh, I quit Lost because it got annoying. It got stupid. It didn't answer anything. Was it over when you quit when it didn't answer anything? Oh, it wasn't? So then how can you complain it didn't answer anything? The only people who can complain to me about Lost are people who saw it from start to finish. They watched every single episode and they just didn't like the ending. That's fair. But in my experience, those people are few and far between. If there are 100 people who have made an opinion of Lost and 65 of them say they hated the ending, of those 65 people, 63 of them didn't watch every episode. They stopped in season 4 and then they put on that final episode and said, oh, fuck, well, it's this. If you go on the internet and you look up the end of Lost, you will be incorrect on what Google tells you. I guarantee you. So you don't know the end of Lost. You might think you do, you don't. And I've said this to numerous people and they go, and then they watch and they go, oh shit, I didn't know the end of Lost. You're right. The internet was wrong. Oh, gee, what a shock. The internet was wrong. And it just prevails. It's a crazy thing. It's going to become a cult thing because of it. I've never seen a show where the internet is still so unanimously incorrect on the facts of the show. You might hate The Sopranos because it cut to black. Spoiler alert. I'm not sorry for spoilers for shows that are 20 years old, 30 years old, 40 years old, 15 years old. For Lost, because it's a topic and I'm telling you to watch it, I won't spoil the end, but like there are shows aplenty where Lost doesn't even deserve to be in this topic. It's a joke. People are just incorrect on it. That's fine. You don't have to like it as much as I did, but tell me the ending properly and then I'll respect your opinion. Anyway. All right, what are we talking here? Yeah, okay, I see Zozo. Look at Zozo's comment. I'm not going to say whether this is correct or wrong or the thing that I was saying everybody's wrong on, but I'm just going to repeat it out loud. Lost ending equals they were all dead and needed to cross over. They were all dreaming. Incorrect, 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 fucking incorrect. Now, I'm not saying you, Zozo, are incorrect and be mad at you. I'm saying I'm mad at those statements because those are the statements you see on the internet and they're just fucking wrong. And if you buy into that, that's fine. You look at headlines and you go, oh, that's what's happening. Maybe you should fucking look into it more. What else? What other show? Have you guys? Okay, let me butt in with a new show since I'm at Boardwalk Empire. Great show. I actually got bored with Boardwalk Empire. I didn't give myself that whole show. I found one of the female characters just sucking away the life of the show. I think she was connected with Steve. What the fuck is his name? God dang it. Benici, that's not his name. Anyway, dude from Big Lebowski. Anywho, we know the main character. Anyway, I found she was like sucking life out of that show. So I actually didn't finish Boardwalk Empire. Virgin River, I haven't even touched. The end of Lost is aliens. That's not at all what happened, Indy. I don't know where you got that from. Now, Lindelof did write Prometheus. And I will say absolutely without a shadow of a doubt, and I'll look this up. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a second. I will say without a shadow of a doubt, Prometheus, I found Prometheus good, and I was an alien lover. But I will say people who, babe, do I need a beer? Sure, yeah, I do. I will say Prometheus was not a good movie. It just wasn't. It had a great premise. Buscemi, thank you guys, Steve Buscemi. God bless it. I will say, I think Prometheus had a great premise to it. I loved the backstory almost. They didn't really quite get into it, but the backstory of the original men. Oh man, loved it. Chills. But I will say when they get into the actual ship at the end of Prometheus, it was just, if everything felt forced after that. Like Lindelof can't do movies. You know what else he wrote? Lindelof wrote Cowboys and Aliens. And Cowboys and Aliens to me was a subpar movie. And I was so hyped for that shit. I couldn't wait for Cowboys and Aliens. And when I saw that, especially when you're going to tell me Daniel Craig and Harrison Ford. You're telling me James Bond and Indiana Jones are in a movie where they're cowboys and they're fighting aliens? You can't get better than that. And God, that movie was blech. Back East, Lost is pretty much like the ending of The Chase, mass hysteria, and group delusion. See, I was reading this almost going, what are you going to try to say here? I would agree. There is a group delusion on the end of Lost. People don't understand the end of Lost. End of fucking story. I'm sorry that people don't. They just fucking don't. Andy, I don't think I'm ignoring your comments. I think I'm trying to kind of see them.
I love how you're like literally saying what I already said 10 minutes ago, and now you're saying the same thing like you just thought of it, and you're so intelligent.
What are you talking about?
I literally just said nobody understands the end and they need you to explain it. And you're like, oh, I just had this great idea. Nobody understands.
When did you say that? What are you talking about?
The end of Lost. Whatever, dude. I went into 7-Eleven and I spilled icy all over the place. It shot out of there like a
So that's what's really going on here. You spilled on yourself.
That's what she gets for attempting to card me when I'm like 75 years old. So I'm coming home now. I love you. Goodbye.
I love you. Goodbye. Indy says, I'm going to go waste 10 minutes of my life and tell Ben what the ending of Lost really meant. Indy, I need you to understand something. I wrote I'm going to put this on camera for a minute. Like I'm going to show myself here. I wrote a 40-page paper in my undergrad in the defense, or not the defense, in what the true meaning of Lost was while the show was still airing. And in that paper, I referenced a few things. One was a Hindu concept, and this is why you see this tattoo. I don't like to sail. I'm not a sailor. This is a Dharma chakra wheel. I wrote an entire paper based upon what the ending of the show would be while it was still in the end of season 4, and I turned out to be right. So if you want to tell me what the ending Lost really meant, that's great. The reason why I was proven to be right was Damon Lindelof, the writer of the show, did an interview during COVID, June of 2020, in which he explains what the ending of Lost really was. Not just the typical, hey guys, they weren't dead the whole time, but he did an actual interview into what it all was and how he set it up and what was a fake and what wasn't. And it made my paper stand the test of time. I ended up getting an A on that paper, by the way, but I mean, feel free to waste 10 minutes of your time and tell me what the end of Lost was. I would love to have that conversation because that's up my alley, but I don't know if you want to, but we'll see. "10 minutes of your life you'll never get back." That's right, Lucy. That's right. She won't get them back. She'll regret that shit. It's not during COVID. Like, for her own safety, I need her to not do that during her COVID bout because it's not going to end well for her. So what else? What else do we want to talk about here? We got the poem. We've talked about the poem in a different way. I'm feeling like we're all getting close to out of options here. That's what it's truly feeling like. I'm not digging the status of the community in the chase right now.
Yeah, it's like how many different ways can we look at it? How many more people can we hear from?
I mean, I agree. How many people? And I invite anyone to keep bringing in different ideas to look at this poem, but it really feels to me like Jack, or at least the intention of this Jack character, is to imply to us that we need an aha moment at home when we're doing this. And there's plenty of people who think they have the aha moment, but nobody has an aha moment they've shared that has convinced the entire community to go, oops, yep, haha. And when I say entire community, I mean even 66% of it. I have not seen.
And here's the thing. Have you not had more than one aha moment? I think the problem is you have the aha moment and then you're like, oh, okay, that doesn't work. And you go, wait, I thought of another way to look at it. And then you have another aha moment. Like, there's so many aha moments to be had.
But then that's not an aha moment. And that's kind of the theme of the chase here. when Forrest Fenn says himself, if you don't have the solve that brings you within to several steps of the chest, all you have is a general solve. And so all you have is a general aha moment. You don't have the aha moment unless it brings you whoop, right to a spot. And again, and this is why it contradicts Jack. And I'll just get back to it. I'm going to type in several steps. I'm going to get to this quote again. And here we go. Let's coin a new phrase. You can't have a correct solve unless you can knowingly go to within several steps of the treasure chest. Otherwise, you have a general solve. Jack himself did not go knowingly within several steps. Maybe he thought he did, but he said he ended up with a football field size grid search.
I think that's the problem for me. Honestly, I think that's the problem for me is you kept telling me and I kept hearing Fenn say, yep, you should just go right to the chest. You follow my poem and you go right to the chest.
Right.
And Jack didn't even do that.
No, he went to the site. He saw a fake blaze about 1,000 feet away from the real chest, which means Jack was at some point searching 1,000 feet away. Nothing in that poem should tell us to go 1,000 feet away from the treasure chest as a marker, unless it's part of a clue. So unless the fake blaze was part of one of the 9 clues, Jack was just meandering. And that is not the quote that I read from the man who sold me this chase. I wonder what the fuck.
And I just think about myself and you, and like if we were to put on some treasure hunt, like imagine if we were like, yes, these 9 clues lead you right to it, and then someone's like, yeah, I just sort of backed my way into it. Man, that sucks.
Just for clarification here, I see Indy's post. Indy, I know you have COVID. The ending of Lost explained. The survivors on the island all had another chance at life, and even though the heart of the island represents life, death, and everything else, they still take advantage. There's implications of what you're trying to say there. They didn't have another chance at life. Like, there wasn't a second life. They all were living the same life they were always living, right? Is that what you're saying? I need to understand before we go further with that. The finder used my poem to find the precise location, is what Fenn said. And Fenn's quote previous in 2017 is saying, unless you go knowingly within several feet, and I don't know what we call several feet in this channel, but several feet is several feet, not 1,000 feet. 1,000 feet is not several to me, but if that's the game we've been playing, then we got fucked. Then we shouldn't have listened to anything. So I don't know. Fenn himself says you have a general solve, not a correct solve. So Jack, at the very maximum, had a general solve that he was convinced on, but not a. Hello, is that half baked? Hello, yeah.
Look what I found.
I'm very excited for that. I see it, Indy. It feels like a copy pasta from somebody who didn't like Lost, but who died during the crash must end up dying anyway because they didn't learn lessons that the island taught them or tried to teach them. Also aliens. There's no aliens in Lost. Indy, again, you haven't seen the whole show. How can you talk shit about it? Anyway. Fenn said nobody's going to stumble upon the treasure chest, but literally the way Jack found it. LOL. Agreed, K-Pro. I'm sorry. And I think Rudy has tried to talk to me about this on Reddit, but I don't know, man. The dude said he found what was an outline of a box and then looked closer at it and got excited at this outline of a 10 by 10 or 10 inch by 10 inch by 6 inch box, and then looked up and saw the blaze and went, ooh, that must be the treasure chest. So according to Jack's story, he saw the chest. And then he looked up and saw the blaze, which is precisely opposite to where to how the poem said it would happen.
I would just like to let you know that Sugar ate my spinach artichoke dip, and I'm really ticked off at her.
Sugar, did you eat my dip?
Wow.
Fatty.
That like
Go
echo.
outside.
It's echoing right now. It's interesting.
Don't mess with my food.
Don't mess with Ashley's food, guys. Nobody solves it from the 9 clues, period. So how can we try and solve it that way now? Well, K-Pro, if we can't solve it from the 9 clues, then we're all fucked. Right? I mean, what was the point of this? Indy, try and prove me wrong. This is literally the ending. I mean, humans take like, yes, fine. You know, appreciating life is one of the meta themes of Lost, but that's part of many meta themes of Lost. It's not the meta theme. Sugar, the dog. Yeah, Sugar is the dog. Sugar ate Ashley's spinach dip. Whoops. Jack found slip-ups on where F wanted to die and then stumbled upon it. Again, slip-ups, stumbling. It just always seems like a couple of writers are doing all of this, including the final pieces, including the word slip-ups. Slip-ups. What do you slip on? A banana. Grab all the bananas. Like, it's not hard to make the connections for all this. It feels as if they're telling us a story right in front of our face, and they're sitting there going, how are these people not seeing it? That's the game I feel like I'm in right now, and I'm one of those people not seeing it. What do you think, babe? Did this dude win? Is that what's going on?
I wasn't listening, but I bought the kids Mentos, and they decided they didn't like the mint one, so they put them in this Best Mom thing
Mentos.
and gave it to me as a gift.
The fresh maker.
They literally put it in here and then brought it up here to give to me. That's what I think. And Sugar ate my dip, and that was my dinner, and I'm mad at her.
My translation to Lost, Indy. I mean, okay, I could do it, but you know, spoiler alert. All right, spoiler alert to Lost. If you don't want to understand the end of Lost, go away now. I'm gonna give you all a couple of minutes, like literally. Even if you get to this point in the show, I'm gonna just stop the video. I'm gonna chill. I'm gonna smoke a bowl here, and then I'm gonna explain to Indy what the end of Lost was, and all of you what the end to Lost was. So buckle up, leave the stream, do whatever you gotta do. But we going down the rabbit hole now. I can't believe that Jack was the only person that caught a slip up after only 2. Is Lost a movie? K-Pro, no. Lost is a television show that aired on ABC, starring Matthew Fox, Evangeline Lilly, Dominic Monaghan, amongst others. Anyway, it was on ABC. It's about a group of airline survivors surviving a plane crash on an island in the middle of nowhere. And then all the shenanigans transpire from there. Don't mistake it for all of the copycat shows that have existed throughout the years since 2004, like Manifest or Flash Forward or any of that bullshit. No. There's only one network show that's worth watching in the history of television, and that's called Lost. What do you need, baby?
The drink. Because I'm pissed.
Take a drink from me then. So we'll get into this. We'll get into this here. The end of Lost. The end of Lost. I'm still not ready. I'm smoking my joint. Hold on. Good night, Dizzy Dean. Good to have you with us. Slip up doesn't sound like a slip up. It sounds innocuous. I mean, a slip up sounds innocuous until Jack himself says we need to pay attention to it. You know, listening for the innocuous is almost a fool's errand, if you really think about it. Someone's knocking on our door to see what's up. Oh, it's a little JJ. JJ's gonna share something. He's telling his mom he's gonna share. That's good. Anyway, Indy, the chasing Indy, the chasing COVID Indy. The heart of the island needed to protect her, and there can only be one. Okay, I mean, okay. All right, Indy. Yes, you're giving me like quotes from like reviews from like people who skimmed it. Yes, you're giving me the cliff notes, and I can recognize the cliff notes. I'm like a teacher who assigned a book report, and I can tell you read the cliff notes and you didn't read the book. Does that make sense? It's not an insult. It's just. K-Pro can't seem to get off the conspiracy bridge. I agree. I can't seem to get off that conspiracy bridge either. I don't get what's happening here. There's too much shit going on for us not to pay attention. We can't even agree on the 2 slip-ups, let alone where in the state of Wyoming it is. We can't even agree that Wyoming is actually the state because we see that Forrest Fenn says, well, the finder and I agreed to say that it was in Wyoming. We can't even make sense of that. What are we doing here? Who are we listening to? We're listening to a madman. We're listening to a madman convincing us to follow a wild goose chase. We're nuts. All of us, we're nuts. Straight from the creator's mouth, and then took that information and interpreted it my own way. Sure, Indy, but again, you need to understand the subtleties of what was going on from the creators. The creators were giving different types of interviews in the years leading after Lost, okay? And it requires who you're listening to. Are you listening to Carlton Cuse? Are you listening to Damon Lindelof? Are you listening to them in 2012? Are you listening to them in 2015? Are you listening to them in 2020? There are differences in those interviews, and you know, to really kind of understand what it is they're saying, you got to listen to all of that shit. It's crazy, but it is. Anyway, let's see. Have you discussed Monday? K-Pro, no, I haven't discussed what you're gonna do Monday. I've kind of like, I don't know, kept it quiet. I don't know how else to put that. I'm trying to see kind of what comes up from everything before I let me get back on video before I start bringing up shit like that. Ben, do you have any emails about the slip-ups with Jack? I do, I think, have an email or two, and I'm pretty sure I shared them, but in case you didn't see, let me see if I can bring those up again. Let's see. Okay, I've brought up slip-ups a couple of times, or at least once where I thought I caught a slip-up. I'll share this one first. Let me see, share screen. I was watching old Fenn interviews with the family last night. This is in March of 2021. I was watching old interviews with the fam last night. I may have caught one of the slip-ups. Maybe you can let me know. Fenn numerous times mentions the clues are in continuous order. However, one time he states contiguous. I don't have to tell you the difference in the weight of what that means to the boots on the ground solve. Ben, he goes, you do, because I think he was trying to be synonymous with those words. So he's telling me I do have to tell him the difference and the weight of continuous versus contiguous. That's what he's telling me to do in this email with no period at the end. To which I say, well, I'd start by saying contiguous would describe 2 or more items that share a border or touch. They are physically next to each other. While continuous describes something or some things that complete a whole, an uninterrupted pattern. Continuous doesn't have to touch. Think of the Yellowstone map as a square. If you have one of your items in this continuous order that's in the bottom right-hand corner of Yellowstone, and the next item is in the upper left-hand corner, it's continuous to the story, but they're not contiguous as in touching. I think that's a very important point to describe, and what Jack does is basically avoid the shit out of it. So I find that interesting that he would almost beg me to tell him the difference. I think that's weird. To which he says back to me, and I'd say, why can't both be true? And then I looked it up and I said, shit, you're right, I guess. I didn't really necessarily agree, but I think there is a technical way where he's right that they're both the same, but it really does feel like he's trying to avoid. By the way, he knows how to put a question mark at the end of this sentence, but doesn't know how to put a period at the end of that. But that's not the only slip up email I have. So then this one was sent June 22nd, so very recently. I have a question I think you can answer instead. Would Fenn consider what you called slip ups to be slip ups in retrospect? That's an interesting question. One of them he didn't remember to the point he denied it happening. The other he pretty much acknowledged as such, no period. And then I did a follow up, he never responded. So anyway, that's on the slip ups. What we got here? But did you ask Jack if anyone was ever with him on any boots on the grounds? I think I did. Hold on. And I'm pretty sure his response was, I've always been by myself. Let's see. Let me try to look up the term by myself. Shit, there's a lot. Oh God, because the word myself is on there. Let me try this. Give me a second, guys. Sorry. There is something kind of interesting as I'm kind of searching for this. I got a quote incorrect that I put in quotations, and Jack made sure to tell me I was wrong. I find it interesting. So I guess I'll just scroll back to the top of this thread. Not sure if you can or would answer this in greater detail. You mentioned Fenn's ambivalence towards when the chest would be found revealed itself to you in your journey of solving the poem. I hope I paraphrased that correctly. Can you expound on that at all in a way that may help someone trying to follow in your footsteps? I don't want to assume this profound reveal helped you in figuring out the location. I guess I'm just wondering what role or effect it had for you. No, that didn't help me figure out where it was. I already knew where it was. I suppose since it didn't have anything to do with helping you figure out the location, seeing as you already knew, what did you mean? How did Forrest's opinion of when the chest was found reveal itself to you in such a profound way? Jack says, go back to the context of what I said, and it should be explained. It was the degree to which he was ambivalent when it would be found. Okay, never mind. I didn't fuck up. I actually quoted Jack's fuck up on his email. So he goes, it was the degree to which he was ambivalent about when it would be found. And I say, that makes me initially think that Fenn found a spot that was almost designed to house a secret for as long as it needed to be secreted. As in you already knew the location, but seeing it, discovering it, all pointed you to remind yourself, yeah, man, this guy could really care less when this was found. This chest almost belongs in this remote, isolated area, if you will. Warmer, colder. Sorry if I'm frustrating you. I consider myself a malleable, intelligent, think on my feet kind of guy. When I'm presented with a situation I can't really understand or solve, I just start to go basic, blah, 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 bullshit. And I write him again, he ignores, and I write him again. He goes, and I say, it was the degree to which he was ambivalent. So I kind of quoted him where he fucked up. And I said, I've had a hell of a time interpreting this, Jack. My weed isn't strong enough. And he goes, well, there's an extra the in there, but I'm saying he really was ambivalent between wanting to see it found in his lifetime or lasting decades or centuries. And he left it up to fate to how it would get more difficult over time and when. So anyway, that doesn't answer what we were saying, but I don't know. I just found it interesting.
Candy said, look up catalyst.
Like, look up the definition of catalyst.
Yeah. Mhm.
I think someone's knocking.
Always.
Always. They don't seem to get the point, do they?
Nope.
Catalyst. Definition. I spelled definition. It's fine. I want the Merriam-Webster. A substance that enables a chemical reaction to proceed at a usually faster rate or under different conditions, as at a lower temperature than otherwise possible. An agent that provokes or speeds significant change or action. A chemical reaction to proceed at a usually faster rate or lower temperature. I don't know. You getting to where warm waters halt? I don't understand. Help me help you. I don't get it. Did you ever ask Jack if the reason he knew the location of the treasure was because he was also the one who hid it? So Lou, you're asking me if I should ask Jack that if the only reason he knows the location of the chest is because, not because he found it, but because he was actually the one who hid it. I mean, I could ask him that, but, and see, Lou, this is where we need to get into strategy for how we interact with the guy who claims to have the chest. And I'm gonna go off video again here just for a minute, just because I need to like sit back and relax for this one. But what I want to understand is, how do you think you're gonna make Jack decide he wants to talk to you about anything relating to this find when we're going to basically accuse him of lying about everything he's done, and that he actually hid it for Forrest in 2009 and 2010 or 2010, and then somehow was going to then recover it 10 years later. In the meanwhile, talk shit about a vice presidential candidate and her son with Down syndrome. It seems a lot. I don't think, even if that's our end game, I don't think that's how we want to approach it. If that's our end game, we want to kind of figure out, hey babe, found it. If that's our end game, we kind of want to approach it a little bit more delicately. So even if that's true, I don't think we should come out guns a-blazing on that one. That's all. Let's see. Cat 1, Cat 2, Cat 3, Liz. Lee's going down. A person or thing that precipitates an event or change. Yes, fine, sure. So Jack is a catalyst. Is that what we're saying? He does not have the chest. It sits in a vault. Yeah, sure. Okay. But I will say, if I had found the chest, and for whatever reason a lawyer told me it makes much more sense for this chest to sit in a vault, then that's what I would do. I would leave it in a freaking vault. Like, I don't get it. It's not that big a deal that it's in a vault. It can't be. No one can break into his house and steal his chest. It's in a vault. No one's gonna break into a bank and steal a fucking chest. We're not in the Wild West anymore. So of course you leave it in a bank vault. After you swim with it and make love to the coins and all that shit. But yeah, then you leave it in a vault. The clues are a catalyst, says Indy. Hold on. Supposed to keep up with everybody's train of thoughts. let me try to figure out these Fenn Catalyst quotes here. I'm gonna type this into Terry Scant Catalyst. Well, the one result from Terry Scant is somebody else mentioning how the treasure hunt has been a catalyst, blah, blah, blah. Forrest himself doesn't say it. It's not in Terry Scant. This doesn't mean Jack didn't say, or Forrest didn't say that, Indy. I'd need to see the quote so we can debate it a little bit more. Davio, not a bank, a lawyer safe. That's fine too. I'd still trust the lawyer. There's contracts. No lawyer, I'm sorry, guys. No lawyer is going to disbar themselves, risk themselves for prison, ruin any financial opportunity they have for the rest of their lives and the career in which they have so chosen to take years before for a $2 million treasure chest. We have to start thinking like people that maybe make more money than we do. I know that maybe is a rough sentence for some of us to hear. No lawyer wants this headache or needs the headache of a $2 million treasure chest that belonged to a grave robber that may or may not have been left in the national park, which, by the way, leads me to a new thing. And I think we all need to kind of understand it. There are laws and codes, obviously, for these national parks, and I've been doing some digging, and I kind of feel like this digging has been done. However, maybe not enough. The whole act of, well, whoever finds the chest can bring it back to the superintendent and all is good. Oof. I think I found something that just destroys that idea. And that is some subcode section of the National Park Services that essentially states if you abandon anything on purpose, you have negated any finder laws. The very act of abandoning a piece of property on purpose is in fact against the law. Therefore, that property that you have abandoned on purpose no longer falls into the categories of, well, if you find it, you give it to the superintendent, and then you have a 60-day waiting period. Nope, all that goes to shit. If Forrest Fenn put it there on purpose, the actual act of the abandonment is against the law. And I don't know what lawyer told him it wasn't against the law because it started in 1983. Game over. So I'm trying to find that right now. I messaged it to a couple of people, and I'm trying to find that message so I can find it quicker, and I'm just not finding it. So just give me a second. Fuck, man, where was it? Give me a minute. I think I'm getting closer to this. Hold on. Man, there's a lot of scrolling. Jeepers, creepers, lemon peepers. I bet I'm better off just re-Googling what I was Googling. Ay, ay, ay. Look at this. Hold on. Jeepers, friggin' creepers, man. This is ridiculous. Babe, what the hell was that law I found?
What law?
Didn't I message it to you? Can someone post it if they
On
know
Discord
exactly?
or like via chat, like via text.
I feel like I texted it to you.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. All right. I'm just gonna. I had all my stuff up, but then I let Derek use my computer, and then he closed all the windows and said he didn't, but he did. So, national parks abandonment law code. Just throw in some words, and we'll get here. We can see. Boom! I fucking found it so fast. God bless it. All right, so. I'll share this part. Let's do this. All right. Oh, what is this? All right. So the following are prohibited, and this is for national parks across the country. Oh, screw it. Let me do this. I hate the advertisements. Here we go. I'll just put that back on. All right, here we go. So abandoning property. That's okay. It's against the law. You cannot abandon property, and that's exactly what Forrest Fenn did. He left a chest there. He abandoned a chest. Leaving property unattended for longer than 24 hours, except in locations where longer time periods have been designated or in coordinates with conditions established by the superintendent. So unless the superintendent was in on the chase when Forrest Fenn hid the chest allegedly at Yellowstone, Forrest Fenn broke the law. And then failing to turn in found property to the superintendent as soon as practicable. So Jack would be guilty of failing to turn it in if it was just left there. But the problem is Forrest Fenn abandoned it. He didn't just, oops, I left it. He absolutely abandoned it because the very fact he made a treasure hunt for it proves he abandoned it. He can't just say, oops, I forgot it there anymore because he created a treasure hunt. He abandoned property. Therefore, by the laws of our National Park Services, he has broke the law. End of story. So the rest of this is almost insignificant because he broke the first rule, abandoning property. Now, maybe he did that on purpose. Maybe that's the whole point, but we need to understand what it is happened. Forrest Fenn broke the law. Impoundment of property. Property determined to be left unattended in an excess of allowed period of time, which, by the way, Forrest Fenn left it there for 10 years, right? Impounded. Unattended property that interferes with visitor safety, orderly management of the park area, or presents a threat to park resources may be impounded by the superintendent at any time. Found or impounded property shall be inventoried to determine ownership and safeguard personal property. But again, he abandoned it on purpose. He broke the first fucking rule. Disposition of property. Unattended property impounded pursuant to this section shall be deemed to be abandoned unless claimed by the owner or an authorized representative thereof within 60 days. The 60-day period shall begin when the rightful owner of the property has been notified if the owner can be identified from the time the property was placed in the superintendent's custody. If the owner cannot be identified, it doesn't fucking matter. Nothing was given to the superintendent. But the whole point is, guys, he abandoned the property. It is against the law. We might not agree with the law, but he absolutely broke the law if it was in a national park. Abandoned property shall be disposed of in accordance with Title 41 Code of the Federal Regulations, as in if it's not claimed, it is abandoned, and they were to find it before a finder would, it would be disposed of. Property, including real property, gets into like actually owning lands, but the whole point is Forrest Fenn broke the first rule, and this code was made in June of 1983. So if he talked to a lawyer and it was on a national park land, the lawyer did him a disservice, or he ignored the lawyer, or he didn't actually talk to a lawyer. Rob saying exactly, he didn't break any laws, Forrest didn't break anything. Okay, if he owns property, or okay, in Yellowstone, let's see. Property, including real property, located within a park area owned by a deceased person shall be disposed of in accordance with the laws of the state within whose exterior boundaries of the property is located. So it's okay if that's his property while he's alive, but if it's owned by a deceased person, you can't pass that on. We get to nonsense here. And magically Fenn died, months after this. I don't even want to get into the idea that the solve was found on a piece of private property. We have nothing to go off of on that. All we know is that this chest was found somewhere in Wyoming, and myself included, yours truly, and everybody else who I've talked to thinks Yellowstone is the #1 culprit. If it's in Yellowstone, he broke the first rule. He abandoned property in Yellowstone, and that's against the law. End of story. I don't know what else to say there. The chat might disagree, and I welcome that, but I don't. Any of your solves, if it includes a national park, he broke the fucking law. Unless we want to say it just wasn't in Yellowstone and it wasn't in a national park, fine, sure. But oh boy, does that open up a ball of wax. Good night, okay, Larry. Zozo believes Forrest. I believe Forrest too. And he goes, what if there wasn't any legal issues? But, that's the same man who said, God, there's a lot of complications that come with this chase. Or there's a lot of, what did he say, K-Pro? He said it to you. There's a lot of issues that come with this chase. The same man who told us there's not legal issues, took a step back at the very end of 2019 and said, oh, God, there is a lot of shit that goes with this. And he's the same dude who says, you're going to open Pandora's box. So I wouldn't be so adamant that Forrest Fenn created a treasure hunt that kept any of us out of legal quandary. John S. goes, yeah, no, now we should know 100% that it wasn't a Yellowstone. Don't look back. Done. And Fenn spent thousands of dollars researching this stuff. I kind of agree. How do you abandon this in a national park when the most obvious law, if you just take the minute to look it up, says you can't just abandon something? My gut said you could. You can't. You cannot purposely abandon a treasure hunt or a treasure chest there. I don't know what to say else after that. Like, that's it. He either broke the law and put it in Yellowstone, or he followed the law and it's not in a national park. And there might be property inside of Yellowstone that doesn't belong to anybody. And sure, if that's part of your solve, great. Where was your chest? You had 10 years to find it. You don't have a chest. So I'm sorry, I don't mean to be dickish, but we all have these marvelous, great solves that get into some legal loophole that fixes everything, but none of you have a chest, including myself. So we all had 10 years to go get it. It's not there. It wasn't there. It was taken right before you got there. I don't know. But we're all kind of stuck in the same boat, aren't we? Wyoming for sure, never Yellowstone. I mean, agreed. I just don't know. I don't know. I'm telling you guys, Fenn bought some land and put the title to the land inside the chest. Sure, I guess. We just don't know, John. We can't just say that. We don't know. Fenn put a note in the chest that said, hey, fuck with every searcher for the next 5 years and you'll get $10 million from my estate. How do we know that wasn't in the chest? We could play this game forever. Lots of BLM land in Wyoming, I agree. BLM land. If I'm going to fuck the government, I'm going to go on BLM land. That's what I'm going to do. As a former archaeologist, if I want to fuck the government, I'm going to do something on BLM land. Because BLM is the most disorganized bullshit, bureaucratic nonsense. I mean, shit, the fucking name Bureau is in the damn name. Don't trust anything where the name Bureau is in the name, for crying out loud. What's happening here? We got Renault versus Tate. Oh shit. Tate looks like she's bloodied up too. Renault looks like she's gonna win. I have so many bets on
Wait, is this the
Renault.
one we were talking about?
This is that Renault fight, and Renault looks like she's winning too. I have so many bets on Renault. This is dope if Renault is really winning. Sorry guys, I'm just gonna check my shit here. I don't have that many bets on Renault. I have all my parlays on Renault though, but are any of them still alive? That's the question. I've been paying attention to this. I don't even know if I have any parlays alive. Open bets. Oh, I have one parlay alive. And it includes Renault, so who knows what's going on. These nights usually don't end well with me, but anyway. Dark has returned. What's up, Dark? I'm thinking about ending this here pretty soon if nobody wants to hop on with me. I think I've ranted long enough. Lou says, I want you to look at Jack's emails as if they were written by the person who hid the treasure, not Jonathan Stoof. I mean, look, man, I've tried to read these emails as if Doug Preston was writing them. I've including Forrest Fenn. I don't know who the fuck is writing back to me. All I know is since I started this channel, they have not. It really seems to have coincided. You know, the day we did it, and I think we went live last week, and he might have emailed me back that weekend, but after that, he has stopped. So, and that's fine. I mean, he doesn't like something I'm doing, but a part of me is cool with the fact that it isn't like something I'm doing. I don't know what's going on, but all I know is a stick fell into his chest magically out of nowhere, and he took no selfies with the chest and took that photo and goes, yeah, that stick's fine. We'll leave that in there. Okay. He went to Walmart after sorry, hold on. We're not even doing this right. He found the chest. He left it there for a night, went and drank some wine like Mr. Forrest Fenn would do, and then came back the next day, retrieved the chest, and then on his way out, decided to stop at Walmart in the middle of COVID, and then also decided to stop at another national park for a little, pit stop. Let me just check out the sights. I know, I came for a treasure chest. I didn't come to enjoy Yellowstone or whatever national park I went to get this chest, but it's so important that I just go to another national park that I'm just going to do so on my way to go see Forrest Fenn during COVID. Yeah. This whole thing, it stretches the word incredulity. It really does. It stretches the word. I don't know what to think after bullshit like that. We're either supposed to accept it and move on, or question it and look like assholes. I think right now the right choice is to question and look like an asshole, because something's not right. Davio, a stick. When does a kid ever get to sit in the yard with a stick anymore? Just sit there with a fucking stick. Do today's kids even know what a stick is? You sit in the yard with a fucking stick and you dig a fucking hole. I don't think there are any sticks left. I think all the sticks have been recalled because of lead paint. Is that that's funny? That's funny. Is that a Fenn quote? That's funny. How could Fenn be so bold as to put in the poem that he is giving title to the gold to the finder unless he was giving title to the finder? Well, I'd say look up the definition of title, man. I mean, shit. I bet you some magical way Fenn can get out of this by saying he wasn't giving title to shit. So I'm going to go to Merriam-Webster and I'm going to look up the definition of title. Of course, everything's going super fast. All the kids are on the internet. It's fine. Title. Here we go. Title. The distinguishing name of a written, printed, or filmed production. Okay. A similar distinguishing name of a musical composition or work of art. That's your first definition. Work of art, filmed production. Don't tell me that Forrest Fenn is using these words in the way we think he's using these words. Title to the gold is the biggest fuck you. Ha ha, you didn't really understand what was going on in the poem. An appellation of dignity, honor, distinction, preeminence attached to a person or family by virtue of rank, office, precedent, privilege, attainment, or lands. A person holding a title, especially of nobility. Those are definitions 3 and 4. So definition 2 is, a similar distinguishing name of a musical composition or work of art. He gives us the title of a work of art to the gold. If you've been wise and solved the poem, I give you the title to solving the poem. That's what he's fucking saying. So who knows? This game is much more afoot than I think we ever thought it was. I don't know. Anyway.
Tell Davio that, JJ, because you are the archaeologist, likes to go in the backyard and dig in the dirt till we tell him not to.
JJ does
for artifacts.
JJ does like to dig in the dirt a lot,
Yeah.
and he'll try to go looking for Bigfoot. And I'll have to tell him that Bigfoot has bedtimes and whatnot. There's certain designated times we can go looking for Bigfoot. Magically, those are the times Bigfoot might be out. But we do go digging for stuff, and then I create a little monster, and he needs to dig everything. Hey, look what I found! It's a piece of cardboard from 1976. It's treasure. Well, you're damn right, it's treasure, my son. It's an artifact, and we'll treat it as such. We'll put it in the trash.
like the time that you guys came home from looking out there to find artifacts, and you found like an old piece of a baseball, like an old baseball.
Yeah, he found the stitching of a baseball, like the white stitching that kind of like curved around the baseball.
Are they going to decision? Renee?
Yeah, I'm cheating. I'm trying to like look at the. They give it a Tate.
Tate. Ah.
Son of a bitch.
Well, we kind of thought that.
My DraftKings lineups are good, but bleh. Anywho, all right. Anything more compelling going on? Or otherwise, we're gonna shut this down here. Love sticks, lots of sticks. Everybody loves sticks. Well, Jack, we love your stick. Applying it to the poem. Yeah, stick with it. I don't know. We tried, folks. We drank inside the box. We tried to figure out this poem. We couldn't do it. It's amazing how we couldn't figure this out in 2 hours or 3 hours or whatever the heck this was. But I'm looking forward to K-Pro's show on Monday. Sounds like she's going to dig into some stuff that we've been looking forward to. I don't know what. Hopefully Indy is feeling better. God, listening to her. I know I was talking over her, but that's just what I do. But like, man, when she's out of breath, it was just like I felt like I was killing her with every argument. Hopefully Indy's feeling better and she does the after party or does her Tuesday show. Otherwise, I am looking forward to what K-Pro is going to do next week. And then I guess we just take this fucking chase from there. I don't know. Anybody wants to give me the answer, feel fucking free. Reach out to me. I won't smoke any weed. I don't keep it to myself. I'll say that publicly. You tell me the secret and I won't say shit. Anyhow. All right. Good night, guys.